We started 20 weeks ago with 64 of the finest 8-ball players anywhere in the world. Now, 5 months, 16 group stages, 4 eliminators, and thousands of pots and countless magic moments later, we're down to the final 4. First up, it's top cat Tom Cousins. The 2-time world champion is an unstoppable force when he's on form and has the power game to blow anyone away. Still awaiting his first Ultimate Pool title since joining the promotion at Christmas, Top Cat is looking to be top dog tonight. His opponent in the first semi-final is Stevie Dempsey. The Irishman is the reigning Grand Slam champion and has come through as tough a run as anyone through this tournament. The hammer has been relentless and is looking to join an exclusive club of 2-time Ultimate Pool champions. On to the other side of the table as we say salut to the French phenom Christophe Lambert. iRobot, as he's known in his homeland, has been terrific all tournament long, and with all his years in the game is looking to lean on his experience to take home the title tonight. He faces the birthday boy as the cyborg Aaron Davies returns to the Ultimate Pool Champions League, looking to make a big day even more special. A former junior standout and already a world finalist, the young man was eliminated at this stage in the competition last year. He's looking to go one better tonight. It all comes down to this. It's the Ultimate Pool Champions League Final 4.
You all right, Si?
Nice of you to make it, JMO.
Well, I just got back from Blackpool. We've been at the Pro Series all weekend. It's been a hell of a weekend, but Champions League tonight.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I mean, what a lineup, man. I mean, just seeing the VT there, 4 unbelievable players, and this night will go down as a big night for whoever does win it. I mean, these guys sort of look at this tournament as a bit of a free hit, bit of a fun one. The Monday nights, the format's so volatile, but now you're at this stage, it's all about taking down the trophy.
Yeah, this is the moment. I think up until this point, all 4 players that are in this stage, they're just going about their business. It's about getting through their group. They know what they've got to do. They've got 4 players to get through, or 3 other players to get through. You turn up, you do your business, then you go on about your business over the next few months. This is about the trophy tonight. It's more what they're used to. 2 semi-finals and a final. It's a different way of playing it. It's set form as well. It comes down to tonight. And I can make a case for all 4 players as well. I've been thinking long and hard about who I think might go on and get this trophy, who might have the edge. It's a really difficult one to call.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we're pointing out that it is a different format tonight as well. So the group stages that you've been so used to have changed for finals now. We've got 2 de facto semi-finals, which will be played to a set format. So essentially the same timings as we used to. We'll see 2 sets for each semi-final. Both are races to 4 or 20 minutes, whichever comes first. We're used to that by now. But a big night of pool. 2 semis and then the final, all played to the same format. First semi is going to be massive. Stevie Dempsey against Tom Cousins, 2 top quality players who, when they're on form, have a bit of a power game, and both of them play quite similarly in terms of that. And it could be taken away from either one of them.
Yeah, I've been looking at this one, and I think this match, I would give the edge slightly to Stevie Dempsey, because I think what we've seen from Tom so far this year, in the Pro Series at least, is he's not been himself. I don't think he's preparing right for the tournaments. He said that himself when it comes to the Pro Series. You know, he's been on holiday since we last saw him here on Free Sports. Went into this weekend's tournament and didn't play his best stuff. It's probably as poor as I've seen him play, and he'll probably be the first to admit he wasn't at the races. What we've seen from Stevie Dempsey this year with the Champions League, he's been, for me, one of the best players in the tournament. The way he's handled himself, the way he's dealt with the pressure, the way he's handled the match clock, the shot clock, it's as good as we've seen from anybody, in my opinion, in that element of the game. He's been very strong, and yet he didn't have a great weekend himself up in Blackpool, but I do think he played a stronger brand of pool.
Doesn't feel like he's played badly necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. He just lost matches that he played well in, whereas Tom was below his best, and I think that's the difference, and I think that's why I would give the edge slightly to Stevie. But that being said, what we've seen from Tom in this competition has been incredible as well. He turned up to the last round to get through to this stage, said he hadn't been playing very well, hadn't prepared particularly well.
Look at the group that he got out of.
And then played unbelievably well. He was just electric the whole way through, finishing from the break, felt like every single time.
Anyone who can get through an eliminator containing Jack Whelan, Chris Melling and Shane Thompson is in good enough form to win this tournament. All right, time to get out onto the table for our first semi-final. Before we do, Simon did catch up with both Stevie and Tom earlier.
Stevie, another semi-final for you here with Ultimate Pool. How excited to get out there and potentially get your hands on another trophy?
Yeah, obviously I've got a tough matchup first in the semi-final against Tom. Hopefully I can find the form that I showed when I played my previous group stages here. Didn't have a great weekend up in Blackpool at Tour event 5 and 6, ran into some good performances, so hopefully I can put that behind me and show a bit of form here tonight.
Do you think the fact that you won the Grand Slam is going to obviously gives you some confidence, but the fact that the other 3 players tonight are yet to get their hands on Ultimate Pool silverware, do you think that gives you any sort of edge?
I'm not sure. I think I can only really focus on myself. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but all I can really do is get my own performance right, and hopefully I can get the break going. It really let me down at the weekend, so I'm hoping I can start making some balls and get some finishes in.
Are you able to park what happened at the weekend, disappointing Pro Series for you, but the form you've showed so far in this competition has been absolutely fantastic to get through to this stage?
Yeah, like I don't think at the weekend, like it wasn't necessarily I was missing pots or anything like that. I think it's more down to my break. Just really was, my break has been pretty strong throughout the year, but at the weekend it was just went really, really bad. So I wasn't able to, I guess, get the chances that I normally have been getting. So obviously you're not going to win too many games if you're not getting the chances.
And of course, as you mentioned, you're playing Tom in this match in the semi-finals. Do you do anything different depending on who you're playing? Can you match your game up against Tom at all?
Not really. Like I played him in the Grand Slam, and it was one of the best performances I've had this season so far. Beat him 8-5, I think, in the quarters. Played really well. So I think just more the same, really. You know what you're going to get with Tom. He's got a monstrous break, and if he's on song, he's very, very hard to stop. So I guess it's just sort of trying to impose myself on the game myself as well.
And you've been so good throughout the whole tournament at clock management. Do you think the fact that we're going into 2-set matches now as well, that just gives you even more of an edge when it comes to the clock management?
I don't know. Like, if I'm in front, then maybe it does. Yeah, I guess you can sort of dictate the frames a little bit more if you've got that slight lead going into the last couple of minutes. But I'm not really thinking that far ahead yet. Just try and get off to a good start in the first one, win the first frame or two, and see how we get on.
Best of luck.
Cheers. Thanks, Simon.
Tom, last time we saw you in the Champions League, you said that you hadn't really been preparing right for the pool, and then you turned up and played unbelievably well. We saw you this weekend at the Pro Series not play your best pool and didn't prepare right because you were on holiday. How are you sort of feeling coming into this one? Do you feel ready and raring to sort of hit the ground running and play your best?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't put any hours in, really. I had a quick hour yesterday, but I know it's just on the night. If I turn out and break well, I've got a good chance, so...
Are you able to just park what happened at the weekend, the fact it didn't go your way, just that's gone now, focus on what's coming up?
Yeah, it's a different tournament, it's done and dusted, so yeah, all forgotten about.
You come into Ultimate Pool at the turn of the year with a big reputation, big name, all eyes on you to try and get deep in these tournaments, and you hit the ground running, making the final that Pro Cup. Hasn't really gone your way since, until tonight, obviously. How much pressure are you putting on yourself to get that first trophy for Ultimate Pool?
Yeah, I mean, it's I need to get my first title. I try not to put too much pressure on myself, but you got to start winning titles at some point. So yeah, hopefully tonight's the night.
You got Stevie in the semi-finals in a 2-set match, which is a bit more like the Pro Cup, which you had so much success in before. What's your record against Stevie like?
I haven't played him too many times. I played him a couple of tournaments ago. The tournament he won, he beat me in that. But yeah, we haven't played too many times.
Do you change your game at all depending on who you're playing, or is it you just try and keep things fairly simple?
Yeah, no, just break and try and pot and clear up, and doesn't matter who I play.
And of course, I talk about the 6-row shootout a lot, and you're very open about the fact that you're not particularly keen on ending up in a 6-row shootout. With it being a 2-set match and the way it's structured, every chance that you could be in there again. And we saw Stevie last time he was here; he put on an unbelievable performance in the 6-red. Is that in the back of your mind at all?
Yeah, well, I saw what he did last time, so let's just hope it doesn't go to a 6-red.
Okay, wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, cheers, Simon.
All right then, time to get going. Stevie Dempsey versus Tom Cousins. Massive night of pool in Prospect. As you can see, new scoreboard for the Champions League to incorporate those sets. Race to 4 or 20 minutes on the clock, whichever comes first. And Tom Cousins has hit a brilliant break there. If you look at the split, the contact, that's awesome. But he screwed straight in off in the top corner pocket. It just goes to show how well he hits them that he's done that. And look what he's left. What a start this is for Stevie.
Yeah, disaster right at the start here for Tom Cousins. That will really annoy him when you go straight in the corner the way he did there, especially in these really short races. Okay, yeah, we've got a new format. It is a 2-set match, but you know, Tom will be the first to tell you he doesn't want to go to a 6-red shootout, and if you end up losing,
he did literally just tell us, didn't
yeah,
he?
and if you exactly, and if you lose that first set, the only way you can make it through is a 6-red shootout. So, yeah, you need to get off to a good start. It doesn't matter who you're playing, and right now Stevie Dempsey has that opportunity to get off to a good start.
You say it doesn't matter who you're playing. When you're playing Stevie Dempsey, you want to get off to a good start. He's been brilliant, Nick, all year. Red's the choice for Stevie. Going to be the double here, I think. Yeah, nicely controlled. He has just stuck a little bit on that yellow. Wanted to come back a little bit. Can he still get through to this red at the top of the table? I think so, just by the way he's lining this up. Yeah, he's okay, but he's not ideal. Yeah, he's definitely not ideal.
I think if the natural angle is just flicking the yellow, he's okay. And it is.
Gets away with one.
Yeah, you see how he potted that on the thin side of the pocket as well. If you pot that on the thick side of the pocket, he misses the yellow. So that was well controlled from Stevie to find that angle. And now he's in good shape. As I said in the studio, I think Stevie's been playing some really good pool, but just got beat in a couple of matches with his opponents playing really well this weekend, whereas Tom wasn't. He was off his game. He'll be the first to tell you that. So I think that's why I said in the studio I'd give the edge to Stevie, but I'd say that's why the start of this match is so important for Tom.
Played a lovely shot there to be on the 8-ball, Stevie Dempsey. And he gets the job done. 8-ball home for Stevie Dempsey. 1-0 to the hammer.
Yeah, good start there for Stevie. Okay, it's one thing getting that golden chance with the scratch off the break from Tom, but he put himself in a little bit of trouble. Good enough to get it in and get the cannon he needed and settle him down, because I don't care who you are, what you've won in the past. This is a very big night. It really is. And Stevie, he may be the Grand Slam champion, but there'll be some nerves out there.
Well, this is Stevie Dempsey. Finished the 2021 season ranked 14. He's looking a little bit higher up the table this season. Already a Grand Slam champion on that big event for the largest payday in Ultimate Pool there.
You say he's looking more this season. He's already up to 7th in the rankings, and if he has a good night tonight, he could elevate himself even higher. I think he can go as high as 3rd or 4th in the rankings with a win tonight.
And there's the first Stevie Dempsey break, which when he's on, it's very difficult to stop him in this sort of form. First chance went to Stevie Dempsey. Second chance goes to Stevie Dempsey.
Yeah, and it's a very similar ball that he needs to work out. The yellow on the left-hand side, just above the centre pocket. That's his tricky one. He actually could play a little cannon straight away, but if he cannons into the yellow, he'll be knocking it safe. If he cannons the red, he's perfect. Now he's going long, so I'm not surprised to see him not take that cannon on, because it was odds against going well. And there may be just about enough room to pot it. There's certainly the double's fine.
Yeah, we talked about that. Tom wouldn't want to be in a 6-red shootout, but the odds of seeing a 6-red shootout tonight are significantly lowered than usually on a Monday. We saw one on Champions League finals night last year, Aaron Davies and Chris Melling. It's a lovely double again from Stevie.
Yeah, good
slightly
control
off
as well.
straight the wrong way though here if he's being super critical.
He won't mind that too much, and simply because this is now about picking your line. He wants to be straight. You know, he can afford to be a couple of rolls past straight, almost get back to where he is now would be fine. And then he can take the one to the bottom corner and just track down for the one at the bottom. What he can't afford to be here is short. So he won't worry about trying to get close. Yeah, he could have screwed on and off to get a little bit closer, but it wasn't worth it. It was more about picking the line. Really crisp potter is Stevie. It's not going to change
in this frame, I don't think. He's left himself a smelly 8-ball here. Just drifted off that red. Didn't quite land perfect on that last yellow. And at this stage of the final, the semi-final rather, he had rather an easier 8-ball. He's taken it long.
He's missed it. Oh, it drops in off the near jaw. He thought he'd missed that the minute he hit it. You can see I was going by body language. It wasn't good, but it snuck in.
He has played that absolute pocket weight to give it every single chance.
And you see his reaction there just on the overhead, and look at it graze off the near jaw. And that will have hurt Tom, because Tom would have been watching that all the way and thought, oh, because it was right to where Tom sat, and he thought maybe. If you can guarantee it going in like that, it probably makes it even more enjoyable for Stevie, because it will hurt Tom more.
Yeah, Tom right in the line of that one as well. So Tom in the second break of the set. Again, tracking towards that corner pocket. This time, he stays up. And he's got his first chance to put his hand on the table.
And a chance he needs to take. He's sat there and been a passenger for the first 2 frames in this match. That'll do. Kicking that yellow out the way means the red now goes to the top left. Easy to access it from the one in the left centre as well. Be interesting for me, when does he go down for the one over the bottom right-hand corner? It's absolutely not a bad ball, but it's away from everything else. Well, that answers the question straight away. Now easy enough to play on the one on the left-hand side here.
After what's been a very, very hairy weekend for Tom Cousins, it's been a relatively smooth frame of pool from him.
Yeah, just what he needed as well. Big break, which is his MO, and then rolls them in really comfortably, never in trouble in that whole visit. And, you know, we questioned what Tom's form would be like tonight. You know, he's underprepared. So far, so good in terms of what we've seen with his hand on the table.
Well, this is Tom Cousins, 2-time world champion, won a Supreme Series under this rule set in 2019 before coming over to Ultimate Pool around about the Christmas period. He's had a very successful time in the promotion as well so far without taking down a big one. He's constantly been a danger in pretty much every draw he's in. And, I mean, his Pro Cup performance back in December is one of the most memorable displays of pool I've ever seen from any player, really. He ended up in the final of that one before being beaten by a sensational performance from Jordan Shepherd. And that's pool sometimes. You can play amazingly well and not always be rewarded. Every one of our 48 Ultimate Pool professionals know that very well by now. And so too does Stevie Dempsey. We were talking to him earlier, Simon, and he says feels like he's playing pretty good, but he's not had a run on the Pro Series so far this season, really, over 3 weekends. Had that fantastic run at the Grand Slam, of course, but the standard's so high at the moment that it really is not necessarily the most rewarding of sports when you're playing really well. You can get put out by someone else who's playing just as well.
Yeah, sometimes you don't get the chances. That's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. What Stevie did say, though, he wasn't happy with the way he's breaking. He's kind of lost a little bit of confidence in the break, which obviously is limiting his chances. We talk about the break being so important, and it really is. I have a feeling there he was playing a little cannon on the yellow just to hold the red. He may not. He may have been sliding by and wanting to clear the ones at the top of the table and then come down, but I thought he might want to clear the one in the triangle area first and then go up, because connecting to the 8 balls is fine from all the balls, or from most of the balls in the top half. It's actually harder to get on it nicely from the one in the bottom half than it is the top. I don't think Stevie's had the white in this whole visit. Not where he wanted to. He's sort of reacting to where he's landing at the moment. He's still absolutely fine, but that's why he's just taken a few extra seconds here just to really work it out.
Well, if he was playing on the one in the middle pocket, he's not on it. I suspect he was.
He may have been. It was either the one in the middle or it was straighter on the one to the bottom left corner.
Yeah.
Certainly not the angle he's got now. Very betwixt and between. You see here, it's not a good angle. He might just be able to screw past the yellow and then it'd be fine. But then you didn't get any flick on the yellows, and now you're in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, it's a very thin cut on the red if you're going to take it that way. I don't think it goes long past that yellow. Control the cue ball here is going to be very difficult to land on that last red.
I wonder if he can brush it in thin enough and stay on the red at the bottom with a kiss on the yellow. I think he would end up hitting the yellow half ball at best, or quarter ball, and then the cue ball's anywhere. Oh, he's actually played it thick, so he was missing it altogether. Very clever and very good.
Yeah, love that.
If he pots that centre pocket, he gets very close to that yellow, and then who knows. So potting it on that thick side, just allowing it to drift by the yellow, and delicate control.
First time he's really had the cue ball in the entire visit, and it's a good time to find it. Stevie Dempsey about to go one frame away from the first set in our opening Champions League semi-final. Job done. Stevie Dempsey on the hill in the set. 3-1 to the hammer.
It's been some start here from Stevie Dempsey. It really has. 3 visits to the table, 3 clearances. This is a very big night of pool. It's a major trophy on the line, but like ourselves, we've all travelled down from Blackpool on what's been a very, very busy weekend, and we had a chaotic start of the show, but Stevie certainly hasn't started chaotically. He's been fine.
He's had a fantastic tournament, all told, as Stevie Dempsey. He's only lost the 1 game. 18 frames won, just the 10 lost. His break success has been massive. 76% click. And he's won 10 out of his 13 frames on his break. And he could be looking at here his second reverse clearance of the night. Tom Cousins, usually his break so faithful. He's won 16 out of 18 of his frames on his break in the tournament. Such a weapon for him.
I think one thing that's noticeable, actually, all 4 players playing tonight have had a very high success rate in terms of winning when they're breaking. Tricky layout here for the set for Stevie Dempsey. And that makes it trickier. So trying to open up that red on the right-hand side. If the 8-ball finishes a roll more to the left, it's fine. He would still have had that red in the top of the table to solve, which probably will be a double.
It's a very, very tricky run out now.
I wonder if he's straight enough of playing red off yellow, yellow maybe a shade high, into the left centre pocket, and then the yellow will open up the red at the top, and he could screw back into the 8-ball the potting angle, he can't get into the 8-ball. I don't know if he's straight enough on the other one, playing it off the yellow. May not be, and the yellow may be too high.
Well, there's your answer.
He played that one off the yellow instead, trying to leave an angle on the red into the opposite centre to go into the 8-ball, and he doesn't have it.
He's reaching here now, is Stevie Dempsey.
Safety. Blocking off the top-hand corner of the pocket, top-hand corner pocket, and hasn't really done it. But in the same way, well, I was about to say in the same way that the 8-ball's a problem for Stevie, it's a problem for Tom, but that lasted about 1 second. Tom's not here to mess about.
That's a really confident shot, that, from Tom Cousins. All business.
Yeah, but also he's fully aware of the match clock. 3 minutes, 30 seconds.
And if we end up tying the opening set, essentially both players will get half a point, and it makes it a straight shootout. Whoever wins the second set will win the match.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom would be thrilled if he could get out of this with a tie, because it puts it down to 1 set, whereas it would hurt Stevie.
Oh, lovely shot. That's a really good shot from Tom Cousins, that. Cross double was played perfectly, and it's opened up a bad yellow.
Nice bit of cueing as well.
Brilliant visit to the table. This from Tom Cousins. It's been really high quality. A bit more like what we're used to seeing from TC. Brilliant. 3-2. 2:39 left on the watch in the first set, and that's plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Stevie's going to be quite relaxed about things, though. Okay, he didn't take that one, but he's very good at controlling the match clock. He has the numbers advantage in terms of he's a frame ahead as this clock is ticking down. He knows if he makes a ball off his next break, then he can control the situation, whether it's a good chance to make the clearance or whether it's an opportunity to take your colour set and slow things down, mess the table up. He will have that option if he makes a ball. So it's very important he finds one here.
Wouldn't you know it? Oh, he's got a ball.
He's got a ball, and look at this chance. This is as good as it gets, this layout here for Stevie Dempsey. These yellows are drop-ins for a player of his level. It's only the pressure of the situation. This is to get the first set on the board.
Yeah, 15-second shot clock now in play as well. We've not really heard the beeps too often. These players playing so quickly. But, yeah, you don't have much time to think about it. Not that he should need it in this visit. Could almost, if he wanted to, play this at a 6-red shootout sort of pace, but he won't, because he just wants to use the beeps on every single shot, just in case he should maybe miss the 8-ball or do something daft, just to hedge his bets. Doesn't want to give Tom the potential time to turn things around. Or at worst, he wants to give him as little time as possible. See, if Stevie misses the 8-ball, for example, not that he's expecting to, but just in case, it would give Tom 45, 50 seconds maximum. And he's called his extension for that very reason. It's the only shot that can really go wrong. Just needs to pick his line. He could just leave it. Just drop it off the cushion and just come back. Or even just stun it in.
Yeah, no need to overcomplicate it here.
I think he is purely clock managing, isn't he? All the sort of checking at angles is just a little bit for show from Stevie Dempsey.
That one's got away from him, though. This is why you use the clock.
Well,
There's Christophe in the background watching on. He'll be in our second semi. And I think for Stevie, at no point would he ever have wanted that ball that he's just played to be his last ball, because it didn't have a natural angle to get onto the 8-ball.
it's there. Stevie Dempsey takes the first set in the Champions League semi-final. Super performance from the Hammer. He is one set away from a place in the big one. This match continues when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Champions League. Second set of this first semi-final on the way. Stevie Dempsey leads Tom Cousins by 1-0.
The tough thing here for Tom Cousins is he's openly admitted how much he doesn't want to be involved in six-red shootouts. It's not something he's comfortable with. And right now, he is sat there knowing he has to win a set of pool against one of the best players in the world and then win a six-red shootout. And he knows how well Stevie played in the six-red shootout against Gareth Potts in the quarterfinals. So it's a daunting place right now for Tom Cousins to be in. He has to forget about all that, though, and focus on his next opportunity.
Yeah, and he's got to try and do it. Well, I tell you what, stop the clocks, because I was just about to say he's got to do it against the guy who's just cleared 3 times in a row. Not now. That streak is snapped, and here comes Tom Cousins with a chance to take the hold of set number 2.
Yeah, just quickly before Tom goes about this clearance, it's worth pointing out that we talked about Paul and how strange it can be. Sometimes you don't get the opportunities. Tom Cousins made no errors in that first set, other than screwing into the corner pocket in the first break. The rest of, hand on the table, he was flawless, and Stevie actually made the only error in the match, which was a positional error, and he ended up playing safe off it, and it cost him a frame. So, very high standard match. Tom had less chances than Stevie in set number 1.
And that happens.
Yeah, and he has to focus on set 2 here and forget about the 6-red shootout that would be required. Good chance here just to get himself going. As I said, he was flawless in that first set, so good opportunity to continue that here with a reverse clearance. No real problems. Just make sure you get the right angle on your last yellow at the top of the table to come down to the bottom left-hand corner of the table. Doesn't even have to get that low down the table. Anywhere near left centre pocket is actually fine.
It's worth pointing out, for those of you who didn't catch the Ultimate Pool Pro Series over the weekend in Blackpool, Tom Cousins was a shadow, really, of what he can be. We saw in the Pro Cup just how good he is. We saw at the Pro Series at the weekend how bad he can be. That was as poorly as I've ever seen Tom Cousins play. Wasn't himself, was making errors that were so beyond a player of his quality, so beyond players of half his quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And that comes on the back of the Birmingham event a few months ago, where he wasn't as bad as he was this weekend, but he still lost early. Okay, he drew Gareth Potts in the first round twice, which is just tough, and you don't have to be off by much to lose against Gareth, but he also wasn't at his absolute best. He's not, other than the Champions League and the Pro Cup, he's not been at his best with Ultimate Pool, and that will irritate him.
I do know that, I'm speaking to him earlier, that he got back on the snooker table in the time since the Pro Series exit and today, just to, as he put it, get his cue arm going. He's a brilliant cueist, is Tom Cousins. And back when he was playing a lot of snooker, when he was a little bit younger, he was an absolute savage on the table, really, just knocking in century breaks for fun. But maybe he feels like his timing and his cue action isn't at 100%, and when you've not got total faith in what you're doing, it can be easy to really overthink things, can't it? Make the problem worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a few players actually use the snooker table just to get their technique right. It's not something I'd want to do before a big final. I wouldn't want to go there and do that, change the size of balls and everything else. I'd want to be doing it on a pool table, but Tom's been doing it his whole career like that, so it works for him.
Yeah, and the reason it works is because of the small table and the nature of, the balls and the pockets and so many different factors. You can afford, in the small table game, to have worse technique and still be pretty successful than on the 12-foot snooker table, where the margins are much smaller and the distances are much greater. That's just how it is. So quite a few players work on both, and if you get your cue action and your cue arm going on a snooker table, you're on a pretty good technical floor to build from. And then it comes down to how you see the game and your patterns and your vision and everything else, your bottle that takes to win these great pool titles.
Yeah, and that's what Tom was lacking this weekend, was the technical side of the game. He was missing a lot of pots, which you just don't really see from Tom. He's not going to lose the patterns and the control and everything else. The mental side of it, it's going to come down to the technique. But the one thing, you do lose your confidence. If you're missing balls you're not expected to, then you do lose your confidence out there.
And we saw this weekend just how much of a confidence game 8-ball pool can be. We didn't catch the results. Carl Sutton, a Pro Series winner, out of absolutely nowhere. Carlos, unbelievable win for him. Was the absolute cat's whiskers on his run through Friday and Saturday. Won through champion after champion after champion. In fact, he's run from round 1 through to the final. The final was the first round that he didn't play an Ultimate Pool champion in. That was how tough his draw was, and he sailed through. Brilliant performance after brilliant performance. And until this weekend, he never chained 2 results together on the Ultimate Pool Pro Series. That's how much he was struggling. But he hit a bit of form, he found a bit of confidence, and he said to us on Saturday night after the win that it's just so much is between the ears in this game.
Yeah, completely agree. And he's found some confidence from somewhere, and congratulations to him. We're really looking forward to seeing how he goes the rest of the year as well. Stevie's gone through this visit very nicely. It was a big open split from that fouled break from Tom, so I expected him to make the reverse clearance, but he's still got to do it, and he has done it.
Yeah, hasn't he just? 1-1 then in the set. Nice response from Stevie Dempsey. Reverse clearance to start the set. This has been a very, very high standard semi-final, which is almost, it's what we expected coming into a semi-final of any of these tour events. But pleasantly, almost slightly surprisingly pleased for Tom that he's managed to find a level that he's very much in the mix here. You feel like he just needs the chances and he's going to be able to take them. Would have felt gutted for him if he'd arrived today and made a few mistakes and didn't play like he can. He's not really done anything wrong yet, apart from a couple of dry and in-off breaks. It's come down to chances so far, and Stevie Dempsey has executed brilliantly. Now it's Tom Cousins' turn to try and do the same. Big frame in the context of the match, this.
Yeah, and this time, the first 2 breaks were huge and expected both of them to make those reverse clearances. They would have expected it. Their opponents would have expected it. This one, not so much. This one is now messy. This one is tricky. There is a chance here on yellows. 1 awkward yellow at the top of the table. 2 balls in the middle do plant. You can see that on the overhead. And actually, there may even be, looking at the overhead, maybe just about enough room to get to the potting angle of the yellow at the top on the break line. If not, a cannon required. But this is a much trickier finish than the previous 2 reverse clearances.
Oh, bang.
And that's made it trickier, actually.
He's so unlucky because he has cued that, an absolute dream. But look where this cue ball's ended up.
Yeah, you can still make the plant, but the yellow you'd be hitting would have to go into the 8-ball, knocking the 8-ball towards a red, and things could get messy. He's probably going to be able to play it slow enough for that not to be a factor.
Tell you what, though, that sort of pot is a real confidence booster, isn't it? When you're playing it off the rail like that and you've just drilled it in, it just gives you a little boost.
Yeah, cueing right through the ball with confidence. He's got an angle here to break out the bad ball. Oh, he's taking the double, I think, or is he cutting it? Yeah, he could get to the cut.
Oh, it was thin. It was thin. First real blink in open play from either of these 2 players.
I like the choice, though. I do like the choice because look at the reds at the top of the table. They're really messy. So he's taken the cut on, and even if it was a tough pot and you miss it, you're still not giving the frame away. Stevie will be happy to get to the table. He's got to try and figure this one out.
Yeah, he's got a really tough finish here. Those 2 reds are on an island.
Yeah, I don't think he's thinking finish. I think he's thinking, how can I mess this table up? And that's not great. Not great at all. Yeah,
he's played better shots. I mean, if this yellow goes past the red into the left centre, Tom's really in business. I'm not sure it does.
You can see the one at the top, though. And the yellow. So so Stevie's thinking 2 ways there. I'm sure the yellow doesn't go past the red to the left centre, so he's thinking cue ball on the bottom cushion, block off the one to the top left, and then tie up the yellow on the left-hand side with one of the reds,
I mean, this
and
is
neither side worked.
I mean, this is where Tom put the cue ball when he missed that cut. So this is where he wanted to be 2 shots ago before the miss. So he's in a good position here.
That's not great. 8 ball's gone awkward, and he's not nice on the next ball.
He's not nice at all.
And remember the first shot he played where he really hammered it in and he just nudged the plant? That's what's caused the issue there.
Got to judge this one well. And he has. That's a really good recovery from Tom Cousins, who kicks in that yellow, and he's back in business.
Still not out the woods yet, though. The 8 ball is in a really awkward spot.
Well, is he... What's the plan here? Well, there's Scott Price, our chief referee here at Ultimate Pool. Worth pointing out, it's the big man's birthday today. Many happy returns to no-nonsense Scott Price. Shots, Tom Cousins. Tell you what.
That's some shot, that is.
This is some finish.
And he's lovely on this to the top left. That was amazing. What a shot.
Brilliant. Brilliant from Tom Cousins. That's the sort of finish that a Tom Cousins who's in form takes out on the regular. That's why we talk about him as one of the best players in the world. This is an awesome shot. Has to dig into this cue ball. The pot's not easy. Nails it in the heart of the pocket, gets the line perfect to bump the red, sits on the 8 ball. Cheers. That is a brilliant finish. I mean, he's already had to play, you know, a good shot in that frame. He's played then the plant, then the kick shot. That's a really, really good frame to win for Tom Cousins.
Yeah, that was very, very, very impressive because he put himself in a bit of trouble.
Oh, that cue ball stays up. He's not flushing the break.
Well, he is flushing the break, but
Well,
he's just getting... I mean, the cue ball's going close to the corner pockets because, I mean, look at the power through the pack. I mean, yeah, we're talking about a millimetre. We're talking about the finest of margins is the reason he's going close to the corner pocket. Normally, he wants to be up the middle of the table, which is why we're saying he's not absolutely flushing it. But, I mean, he's got power to spare. That pack just exploded.
Yeah, he simply has got one of the best breaks in the world. There's no question about that. If you were building a sort of a perfect Ultimate Pool Pro out of the lab and you were picking out different characteristics, I think plenty of people would pick Tom Cousins' break.
Yeah, without doubt. There's a few in the conversation, but I think everyone has Tom in that conversation as the biggest break in the world. And it's normally with control. Normally that cue ball is right up the middle of the table. Today he's just off, but it's still powerful.
Well, we talked about, we talk about constantly that performance in the Pro Cup, because even though he was the runner-up, he was sensational. And in his run to the final, he was break clearing at 86% click.
I mean, just incredible.
That's a silly, silly standard.
Maybe playing this one just off the yellow just to open it up. Yeah, and it's a lovely shot.
Great. We've got a match on, folks.
Yeah.
We really have got a match on here.
We're edging towards a 6-red shootout.
Stevie Dempsey does have the next break, but it's not in his hands, this match.
He may, I think, sorry, just to cut in there, I think he may have been wanting to get on this yellow into the right centre there and just didn't quite come back far enough. But that's a good recovery, just get straight on it now.
This is a high-quality visit to the table. I think Tom Cousins has hit a bit of a vein of confidence here. He looks really, really good out there in this match. He's not really done much wrong at all. One missed cut that was very, very difficult to the top of the table, but other than that, he's taken out a couple of fantastic finishes. And when he's in the mood, he's a joy to watch. And it's still one of my favourite things about Tom Cousins, the way that he plays. So nonchalant. He looks like he's strolling around his conservatory at home rather than the ultimate pool arena. Still leaves the chalk on the table like we do down the booth. So it's proper. I love it about him.
Yeah, he's got a lovely style, hasn't he? But I tell you what, the way he's playing right now today, it almost feels like he sent his twin cousin or twin brother up to twin cousin. Is that really a thing? Twin brother up to Blackpool, and,
I think
he's been at home practicing all weekend because he's playing incredibly well.
Yeah, it feels like Tim Cousins lost in the first round.
Yeah, exactly.
In Blackpool. Well, Stevie Dempsey makes a ball, gets a chance. So we'll watch this pack again. Oh, well. It's a good job it's Scott Price's birthday, otherwise I think Stevie would have had a little word with that rack.
He'll be happy, though. He's made a ball.
Yeah, it's a good chance, too. He's not really suffered because of it, which is good.
Just has to be precise with a few shots here. So Reds is his choice. Could have done with being another 2-3 rolls further up the table. He wanted to leave it. He didn't want to come back and be straight because he wanted to be able to sort of come across the table here. So he had to play some cannons there instead. And he's waving the cue at the yellow. Wants the yellow to get to the left-hand side. Make sure the 8-ball still goes.
The 8-ball does go. That red looks tight, but I think it goes as well. And if so, he's played a brilliant shot there.
It helps him a lot if the red goes into them. It does. It helps a lot that it goes in that corner pocket. The reason being, if he has to get to it into the other corner pocket, he's so likely to finish high on it, and then he has to go and play around with the bottom left-hand corner and the yellow and the 8-ball. Going the other way, yes, there's some yellows in the way, but there is more room to manoeuvre and get the cue ball back to the middle of the table.
We're into the 15-second shot clock now.
No, he's snookered himself. He's snookered himself.
Well.
We are now odds on a 6-red shootout.
What can Stevie Dempsey pull out the fire here? Kick shot to the bottom right. Oh, he's made it.
Oh, he's knocked the 8-ball safe at the same time. What a shot that was. What a shot.
It's not how he meant to make it, I don't think. Can he make the double? Oh, it's jawed. Wow. Stevie Dempsey gutted. Tom Cousins back to the table to clear up, to send us to a 6-red shootout. Yeah, he's played it off the yellow. It's a little bit of a fluke, that, from Stevie. He was looking to kick it straight in, but, I mean...
I'm not sure. I think he actually did look at it going off the yellow, actually. I do think he may have played it that way. Only he'll know. You could play it both.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
Hey, it was a brilliant shot. We couldn't quite double the 8-ball. So then Tom Cousins to clear. And if he does so, it's 6-red shootout time. Well, it's the one thing that Tom Cousins does not shy away from telling us he doesn't want to be involved in. But ultimately, he's going to have to be to qualify for tonight's final.
Yeah, when you lose the first set, though, you have to be. So some ways it's not. If it was the other way around, if Stevie had...
Oh, he'd rather be in Tom's shoes.
Yeah, because he's riding the momentum.
confidence-wise.
He's known for, 20 minutes that he's going to be best case scenario in a 6-red shootout, whereas Stevie was hoping to avoid it.
We do know Stevie has a very good 6-red shootout within him. He showed that against Gareth Potts in the Eliminator. But Tom Cousins sends us to a 6-red shootout. It is 1-1 after 2 sets. And the only way to separate these two great champions is via the 6-red shootout. How are your nerves?
I'm feeling it in the commentary box, to be honest with you. I dread to think how they're feeling it out there. I really am.
Stevie Dempsey has only ever played one 6-red shootout. He won it. That was in the last 16 eliminator against Gareth Potts. Tom Cousins was in one with Shane Thompson in the Pairs Cup. He actually ran a pretty good time there, 23.88 from the pair of them. Other than that, he's not been in a 6-red shootout solo. This is his first experience. He's going to do it without his mate.
Stevie wins the lag, and I'll be very shocked if he doesn't put Tom in, and that's exactly what's happened. So Tom will be going first, setting the time for Stevie.
The top 5 quickest times in Ultimate Pool competition history have all been set by players playing first.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? It really is, because I think 90% of the players would rather go second, know what they've got to beat. Nearly everyone that wins the lag now puts their opponent in. Very few would go first.
Scott Price just reminding Tom Cousins of the rules, and we will do the same for you at home. Break off, clock starts. Cue ball and object ball must be stationary. Everything else can still be moving. Cue ball and object ball must stay still. Tom Cousins breaking off for a place in the final. That's a very good break.
Oh, he's got to make his mind up there, and he stops shots. You don't want the cue ball moving.
He's in business here. This is going to move, though. Oh, he's going to land on it. I think he has to take it. That's going to drop, and these two have to go in rapid time. It'll be an okay time, this, from Tom Cousins. Finishes it off. 30.88. The watch stops. They're going to double check. Looks from that smile on Scott Price's face that he got at the exact same time as the electric timer as well. Little shake of the head from Tom Cousins. I think ultimately, in the face of the fire there, I think if you went back and analysed it, could have gone a couple of different ways. That just lost him a few valuable seconds.
Yeah, there's a few things there for Tom. Great break. One of the best breaks we've seen in the shootout. They pinged open just enough, and he couldn't make his mind up on the first shot. He was almost waiting for the ball to the bottom left corner, but he had one to the left centre. He could have gone straight away and played a stop shot and stunned the white straight away, and he would have been up and running. His first 2-3 shots, the cue ball was running, and then he played one across the table, cannon the ball out. All that stuff takes time away. You need the stop shots, and he's probably done 5 seconds too much there.
So Stevie Dempsey, big favourite, 30.79, the official time to beat. Remember, cue ball and object ball must be stationary. 30.79 to beat for a spot in the final for Stevie Dempsey. They have not come out. Hope for Tom Cousins.
He can open them up in this shot, though. Make it in the middle, just ping them open.
Yeah, Stevie's in business now. He's in real business now. Thought about the plan, thought against it. Wow, what a finish from Stevie Dempsey. A champagne end to a champagne moment. The hammer is heading through to the Champions League final by way of 6-red shootout. He's done it. Second semi on the way in a moment. Welcome back into the Ultimate Pool studio. You're watching the Ultimate Pool Champions League Final 4, and we now know one of our final 2. Stevie Dempsey is through to the big game. The Champions League Final is going to have the Irishman in it. A victory over by way of 6-red shootout over Tom Cousins. Just before we move on to our second semi-final, Simon, really pleased for Tom that he showed up in that final. I thought he played a brilliant game. And 6-red shootouts, ultimately, they are a little bit mixy. They can go either way. We know that by now. But I thought he was absolutely brilliant in that semi.
Absolutely, he played great. Okay, cue ball went in off on the break a couple of times. He's made half a mistake for me in the match where he missed a pot to the top corner, but it was actually a it was one of those sort of shots he was playing. He knew he had control of the frame if he missed the pot anyway. So I think Tom played great there. It's just he didn't get as many chances as he needed to win the match in real time. And it always looked destined once he got going in that second set to go to the 6-thread shootout, where he knows he could probably put a better time in than that. He probably could have done 5 seconds quicker, and then it would have made it very, very interesting. But how about Stevie showboating at the end there, 2-1?
Yeah,
that's the way to win it.
Unbelievable win for him, wasn't it? I mean, a brilliant win for Stevie. Really, really pleased for him. He gets the chance now to maybe double up his ultimate pool titles, but he's still got one match to play, of course, that being the grand final. Next up is our second semi. Aaron Davies versus Christophe Lambert. The cyborg versus iRobot. Sort of writes itself. I won't do the lazy puns, but I mean, what a great opportunity for both these players. Both, I'd say, at sort of different ends of the spectrum, certainly experience and age-wise. Christophe Lambert has been around far longer than you think by looking at him. Still in great nick for a man who's been playing for the best part of 30 years now. Aaron Davies only just turned 25 today. What a moment for the pair of them to announce themselves onto the Ultimate Pool stage.
Yeah, I've been thinking for a while. I said it when Christophe Lambert was announced on the Ultimate Pool stage, that I do think it's only a matter of time before he wins a title. That's the level he plays at. He is a huge, huge deal in France. He's been the best player in France for a very, very long time. And with Aaron, he has been, I've said it last time we saw him, he's been the best player we've seen with Ultimate Pool without winning a trophy so far. He's ever consistent. His level doesn't drop. He never puts in a bad performance. He's very consistent. He's got a great way about going about the game. He is still very attacking, but doesn't mean he has to go all out. If the balls aren't there, he won't take them. And it makes him very, very dangerous. So I think out of the 2 semi-finals, this is the tougher one to call. I really can't pick a winner in this match. I think we're destined for another 6-thread shootout, if I'm honest.
Sounds good to me. Not going to complain if that's the way it goes. I don't know if Aaron and Christophe would agree, though. Time to get going in our second semi-final. Just before we do, though, Simon did catch up with both players a little bit earlier.
Aaron, before we talk about tonight, we need to talk about your birthday. Happy birthday. How 25 today, I believe, is that right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it doesn't look like it with my grey hair, though, does it? But
what a birthday present it might be tonight, though, if you were able to get your hands on the trophy.
yeah, it's funny you say that, because you sort of see it in other sports where it's someone's birthday, they do tend to have a good day, or so maybe it might happen.
So you're coming in with pretty good vibes then?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and I'm quite relaxed at the moment. Obviously been playing all weekend as well in the Pro Series, so yeah, I'm ready really.
I've said on commentary a few times that you've been one of the players I think that has performed incredibly well throughout the whole Ultimate Pool journey without getting your hands on a trophy. You'll be knocking on that door. Does that how it feel for you as well?
Yeah, it's very rare I have a bad match really. I always feel that people have got to play very well to beat me. All I can do really is just keep doing that, and hopefully the tournament comes.
Tonight you've got Christophe Lambert in the semi-finals in a change of format from the rest of the competition. It's a 2-set match to try and get yourself into that final against Christophe. How do you view your match with Christophe? Is there anything you can do differently because you're playing Christophe? Can you play the player at all?
Yeah, I'm a believer in playing the player, because obviously you definitely play the player, and he's probably a very similar player to me. It's one of them in this format as well. You're probably just going for finishes, but especially when the frames go a bit tactical, you're definitely playing your opponent.
With it being 2 sets, races to 4, so the same as we had in the group stages, have you sort of had a think through what might happen if you were to lose that first set? You can only go through by winning the second set and getting a 6-thread shootout. Is that you prepared for that sort of mental challenge?
Yeah, obviously if you win the first set, then you're guaranteed a shootout. But again, if you lose the set, you're still in the match. So to be honest, I'd see it as slightly less pressure on that first match.
Well, really looking forward to seeing how you get on tonight. Best of luck.
Cheers.
Christophe, we didn't get to see you on the Ultimate Pool Pro Series this weekend because you were playing in the French Championships. How did you get on this weekend?
Yeah, it's good. I disappointed to don't coming to Blackpool for playing Ultimate, but it's very important for me to stay in France because it's the French Championships, the last tournament with the last tournament ranking. I winning the last tournament ranking against Yannick Beaufils, and second one the single French Championships. I lose in the final against Christopher Thébault, the best player in France too. But it's a not bad weekend for me.
Yeah, sounds like a very successful weekend for you, but that was played in black ball rules. How difficult is it for you switching between black ball and then coming straight over here to play international 8-ball rules?
Yes, it's not. I think it's not a big problem because in my home now I practice every time ultimate rules, international rules. No, it's okay because I play long time ago. I played to Chinese 8-ball too. It's similar rules. It's not problem for me. No, just the difficult for me. It just in France we don't play the same table, the same cloth. But today I practice, so not too bad. It's okay.
Have you played Aaron before, your opponent tonight in the semi-finals?
Yeah, Aaron. I never see before Aaron because I play blackball rules. It's the player to the UK pool tour. I think
the
so,
world rules. Yeah.
Always I watch when he played in a tournament. I know it's a very good player. I think it's very great match tonight. It's very good match, yeah.
And what would it mean tonight? You've been in the semi-finals before with Ultimate Pool. What would it mean to get your hands on your first title and your first trophy with Ultimate Pool?
Yeah, I hope, because it's now it's 2 years I play in Ultimate. I never touched the winner trophy. I hope winning this tournament, but we have the big group, the big player, the best player in the world. I hope tonight a little bit lucky and a little bit I play good. The gold with me. I don't know.
Yeah, and what's the support like being at home in France? Will there be a lot of people watching tonight? Were you given a lot of good wishes, messages over the weekend, ready for tonight?
Yeah, very massive people watching, waiting the match the last Monday. Yeah, this weekend in tournament, every person when I speak with, he say good luck for Monday night, because he like really good the ultimate game.
Well, wish you the best of luck as well. Best of luck. Look forward to seeing you play.
Thank you very much.
Merci yourself, Christophe Lambert. All right, time to get going in our second semi-final. Another great encounter on the way. Christophe Lambert wasn't with us over the weekend in the Pro Series. He was away in France playing in his national championships, and he was telling you earlier, Simon, had a very, very good weekend. Not that you'd know it from scratching straight off the break like that, but an excellent weekend for the French phenom.
Yeah, won the final ranking event of the year, as he said in his interview there, and then made the final of the French Championships as well. Lost out in the final, unfortunately for him, but it was a very good weekend indeed, as it always seems to be for Christophe Lambert in France. He has been the French #1 for so many years.
It's worth pointing out as well that the game is massive over the channel. I know you've been out there once or twice yourself to sort of get the feel for it, and it's absolutely enormous in France.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge number of players playing the game out there. Really is very popular.
That's quite a cute opening shot, that, from Aaron Davies. Just played that in a way that just nudged that yellow over the pocket, opened up his bad ball, and also potted another one of his bad balls in the same notion.
Yeah, and it now means that he doesn't really have a bad ball in the table in terms of everything has a pocket. Yes, 8-ball needs to go long rather than the centre. I don't think you can quite get to the potting angle in the centre.
Played that okay. Bound to be a couple of nerves out there in these early frames for these two players.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, this is a big deal.
Stevie and Tom settled really, really quickly into their semi-final, but they were able to, because I think they both cleared up when they first came to the table, which does help. It just settles the nerves and settles you down.
Yeah, there were 9 clearances from the break in that first match. Oh. And they played, how many frames did they? 6. They played 11 frames. That's a standard. That's not bad, is it?
It's a ridiculous standard. And one of the frames that didn't end up being cleared from the break was an unbelievable finish from Tom Cousins anyway. It was some standard, that first semi.
Actually, it was, I miscounted, 8, and my notes are bad there, but 8 and 1 counter clearance. So essentially first visit to the table for Tom Cousins, the one you're talking about there. So yeah, just incredible standard in the opening match. Both players deserve to get through, but by a few seconds, it is Stevie Dempsey waiting for the winner of this one. And that's not a good position for Aaron. he's having to play this one off the yellow on the bottom cushion. Not what he wanted at all.
Oh, hasn't he played it well, though?
And he's had a touch.
He'll take that result.
Right touch.
He will take that result all day.
That was like a touch in slow motion. Originally, when he saw the two yellows, he's thinking, oh no, I'm going to be on nothing. And the yellow kept going and has landed perfect. You might even be able to nudge the, yeah, he could even nudge the 8-ball open at the same time. I mean, you could not pick it up with your hand and put it better.
Sort of thing that can fill a player with confidence when you get a run like that. Might just be time for Aaron Davies to start thinking that his name is on the trophy. 1-0 he leads in the first set of our second semi-final. Well, this is the Cyborg. He was, as I mentioned earlier in our opening VT, a junior standout really, a world and European under-18 champion. Got to the world final in 2020 as well, just before the COVID-19 pandemic struck. Pretty much the last major tournament that was actually played before we all took a break for a year. But has returned to Ultimate Pool since playing in that, and since we've been back, he's been ever present really, and gave us a great showing in last year's Champions League, albeit a much smaller field. He still got all the way to the semi-final. It was a very, very good tournament, worth pointing out. Still got to the semi-final before being beaten in a 6-red shootout by Chris Melling. And the one thing we noticed last week as he qualified was how well he was breaking. And watch this cue ball here. Flushes it straight and parks it in the centre of the table. Yes, he very nearly gets kicked it off, but that would have been very, very unlucky. He's flushed that break beautifully.
Yeah, very good call, that one. He did break very well, and he said he'd been working hard on it. Aaron's a player that he plays a lot. He works hard, practices well, plays a lot of tournaments. And, okay, this would be a huge, major title for Aaron, his first with Ultimate Pool. But the one thing I think he has going for him is the fact that he plays so many tournaments. He is just relentlessly in semi-finals. It feels like every single weekend. And, okay, they may be smaller events, but they're still very high-standard events. So he's used to winning. He knows what it's like. And, of course, we all know that Christophe has been winning for decades.
How does Aaron see this one? We talked about it being his birthday today. Of course, many happy returns to Aaron. But 25 today, and it's so easy to forget just how young Aaron Davies is. Because he's quite a considered and measured individual, and even stylistically, the way he plays the game is that of a much more senior player. A lot of youngsters coming through now, we see them on the Challenger Series, tend to be a little bit more attacking, a little bit more run and gun. He's very, very considered, very cerebral in the way that he plays the game. But he's got a long, long career ahead of him and already has found some real success.
Needs to have a very good angle on this one, and that is not it.
Yeah,
he's short on the yellow.
He wanted to be high up the table here, didn't he?
Yeah, he needed to be probably another good roll or two at least, minimum straight. He can pot this one, but the cue ball's going straight into the 8-ball. That's why he had to play it firm, top off the 8-ball, and that's very well played.
He's played a really good shot there.
Yeah. The problem he had was that one by the 8-ball only went into the bottom right-hand corner. Left centre. It didn't go into the bottom right-hand corner pocket, which just made the connection between them all very difficult.
He's going to sit next to that red. He's absolutely perfect. Great shot from Aaron Davies. And you'll notice as well that both of these players have a very sort of, well, you can't call it unique because they both suffer it. You can see there, just on the shot, both play with such an intensity over the shot that they almost look like they've got the shakes. But it's not a nerves thing. It's more of a sort of a tension thing, isn't it? That they're so intensely focused on the shot that actually you'll see it. It's more pronounced in Christophe. Aaron relatively moderate in that sense, but for the man from Arras in France. It is really, really pronounced. It's even more pronounced when you watch it live as well, and you think, how on earth has Christophe Lambert ever potted a ball?
Yeah, it is incredible, but yeah, it's not a nerves thing at all. I can only put it's like an intensity thing. It really is that they're really focusing that hard, the tension through the body, and they start shaking. It's a very, will be interesting to see how noticeable it is through the night, but it is something they both do. Doesn't seem to affect them though.
Christophe Lambert then with the break. And that is a cruncher. That is an awesome break from Christophe Lambert.
And he needed it. Needs to get into this match. And makes the ball. And a good layout here.
Yeah, well, Christophe actually had one of the highest break success rates in the entire tournament. Absolutely phenomenal record. Before tonight, he's had 13 breaks, made a ball of 11 of them, including his last 9 in a row before he scratched on that first break of the night.
Well, it's such an important part of the game. We always talk about that. Of course it is, but even more so when you're playing these short races. We saw in the first match, Stevie Dempsey didn't get 4 chances in the second set, and Tom Cousins didn't get 4 chances in the first set. That's the nature of the game. Very short. When players play at an elite level, very difficult.
Sorry, Simon. Yeah, got to play a really good shot here, Christophe Lambert.
He always knew he was going to be a little bit high on this one, so that sometimes helps. The problem he had, he wanted to avoid the cannons, and I think he's okay. He can just get through to the yellow, to the top right-hand corner.
Do you know,
see that on the overhead?
I think the pace he's played that, and he came round to have a look at the line. I think he's almost intentionally played off that red and played it at a pace where he almost stunned off it to give himself a little bit of separation. I think it's a really clever shot.
He may well have done. The guarantee being on this one.
Played that one lovely. You can see the Lambert tremors.
Yeah, it is incredible.
But you see the cue come through absolutely bullet straight. He's a terrific cueist. It's a real sort of quirk of these two players in particular. Can't think of another player on the series who actually is the same.
He's played this visit with some real confidence the way he's gone about it.
I think for me, I think Christophe always looks confident around the table. Look, I mean, look at how he's left this 8-ball. That is absolutely pristine. Perfect from Christophe Lambert. But he always exudes confidence to me. He never gives anything away. I get the feeling he'd be a very good poker player. And I think that comes with his experience. He's been playing for an awful long time. Sort of in the same sort of school as the likes of Gareth Potts, Mick Hill, Chris Melling, that sort of age and generation, if you like. I remember speaking to Gareth a little while ago, and he was saying he was playing Christophe Lambert in European juniors when they were both teenagers. Apparently he was pretty handy back then as well.
Yeah, without a doubt.
European champion at the back end of the 90s, and there was some serious, serious competition in those days for that title. Oh. Oh, 8-ball. Oh, how's that stayed up?
I thought that was starting to fall in.
How has that stayed up?
Well, see this one again. How close is this? It's going to look like it's in the pocket here. Oh, I thought that was going to drop. That's as close as we've ever seen to a golden break without getting one, that's for sure. Wow.
Can you imagine if that had happened with like 10 seconds left when one player needed one?
Oh, could you? Could you? So there's one bad ball on the table here for Aaron with reds. and it's the one on the right-hand side. Normally we'd be talking, oh, not that bad for a double, but yellow and 8-ball in the way for the double, so definitely not a double, which means he needs to kick it out. He has an option to do it here, and he's done it very nicely. If he catches that full, every chance that he could end up on nothing and not really getting it out nicely. So an excellent cannon out as we have another look at this 8-ball.
Oh, I can't believe that's not dropped. Hey, some fantastic camera work there.
Aaron just trying to work out his route now that he's got it open.
See there as well, another sort of quirk of the Aaron Davies cue action. Perfect way to see it is you struggle to find a more one-eye dominant player on his cue action. He's fully over on it.
Yeah, works for him. It really does.
It absolutely does. And I mean, he's from a family of very, very good cueists. His younger brother Ryan has had an unbelievable year on the snooker table, winning just about every title going in the junior competitions. Set to be a real star of the future, I think. Aaron's always joked to us that he's not even the best cue sports player in his family.
Yeah, there's always a bit of an insight into his sort of mindset as well. Plays down his ability, but he has a lot of confidence in it, though.
Yeah, as he should.
That red, actually, is a bit awkward, and the one he's going to leave till last, just simply because the yellow is almost where you'd want to put the white, and he's never really been able to get nicely on it. Okay, so he's played for it into the centre pocket rather than the bottom corner, and that's okay. He's a little bit thin on it, but look where the 8-ball is. He's got acres of room.
Yeah, can't miss that. He could play it with the butt of his cue if he wanted.
Oh, don't let the cue ball go in the same pocket, though. Oh, very close.
Perfect position. Perfect position.
Absolutely.
It's been a brilliant start from the sideboard. Aaron Davies, 3-1 in front. I mean, we thought it could be when we previewed the night. We thought we could be in for a pretty special performance from these 4 players, but so far, I mean, they've all shown up and shown out. It's been awesome.
I mean, the standard's been unbelievable, hasn't it? That's 4 finishes from the break in this match. I mean, all the pressure and, you know, Aaron Davies and Christophe Lambert looking to get their hands on their first Ultimate Pool major title. All the pressure on them. And also, in some ways, the pressure ramped up because they've sat there and watched a 6-red shootout in the previous one as well and know that then they've got to go through, through the ringer and potentially go through one themselves.
I do think there's a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they start with 4 off the break. I mean, come on, the standard is so high. I don't care how easy they come out, it's still impressive. And they haven't come out that easy, I'm going to say that as well. There's been some problems on every finish.
The only real, if you can call it a mistake, and let's, because I'm feeling not very generous, mistake in the match was Christophe Lambert scratching off the very first shot of the match on the opening break. Other than that, it's been flawless.
Yeah, completely agree.
And he's in again, Christophe Lambert, into the 15-second shot clock part of the match then. 15 seconds on every single shot in this last 5 minutes. Clock will now stop when the balls are being racked as well.
Big shot now. Big shot. This is a tough pot. If it goes in, the rest are there.
Wants a bounce. Gets one.
When you look from the overhead, I assume the way he played that the red nearest the break line passes the other one to the top corner. It looks very tight from that overhead. And the fact that he's playing the one down the table tells me that it probably doesn't go. Okay, he may have been just playing to get to the middle of the table and then play the one he's playing now and then the other one at the top of the table and overhit the positional shot. That's not great.
Oh, he snookered.
No, it's definitely not great if he snookered.
He's going
going to be a kick shot. He's a roll too long. What a recovery. Oh, Christophe Lambert.
Does he have the gap as well? He may well have this gap, you know.
What a shot that is. He played it instantly.
He doesn't have the gap. He's playing a plant.
Or is he playing safe?
Dangerous with 3 minutes left on the clock and you need to win 2 frames. I think maybe.
What a shot this is, though.
Yeah. The bad news for Christophe, even if he didn't snooker himself there, getting from the, if he was, you know, move the yellow away, the angle on the one at the top of the table was still not good to try and get down the table and get on your next ball. So it was quite a wide positional shot he played.
If Aaron Davies can nail this tough pot, he's back in business. Oh, he's just going to play safe again. Not sure how safe that is. He's left a shot.
And we didn't hear the beeps on that shot, which is a bit of a surprise for Aaron. Clock management, use as much as you can.
Bang.
Needs a cannon.
No, he doesn't. Oh, I thought he'd hit the gap. Well, can he kick this one in? He needs to. He hasn't. Is he going to get a snooker? Oh, it's not the worst news. Is he going to get a shot? 2 minutes remaining. He needs to get this frame out of the way sooner rather than later as well, Christophe. It is Aaron's break next.
Oh, if he gets a snooker now, it's going to hurt.
No, he's fine. Christophe Lambert gets a chance to win the frame. And you start to think, how on earth has Christophe Lambert won that frame? Well, he's going to make Aaron go and win it. 90 seconds left. Plus a second two. So 1 minute and 31 remaining. 3-2. Aaron with the next break. And he needs to keep Christophe Lambert off the table. Just needs a ball.
A ball and a couple of pots and he's done. He knows that. And he's been breaking brilliantly so far.
Oh, Christophe Lambert treating us to all sorts in that frame.
If I'm sitting there as Christophe Lambert, I've got my cue chalked and I'm going to be poised and ready because he might have to pull out a 45-second clearance here or something along those lines. Got to be ready.
All of Aaron's attention. He's so concentrated on this connection. Needs a ball. Needs a ball. Doesn't have one, but the good news is this finish is tough. Look at the split at the bottom of the table. Christophe Lambert then has 90 seconds and ticking to find a way out.
Yeah, cue ball bounces off the pack there. Didn't get the connection. And this is a messy, horrible layout. This is not a nice layout for a quick clearance.
15 seconds a shot. He's got 65 seconds to play with.
And he's not on anything. He's not on anything at all.
Extension called. What can he play here? Oh, he tried to cheat that yellow in down the bottom rail. Aaron Davies just has to keep his cool as we see Jake McCartney in the house. Put out by Aaron Davies last week in the last 16 eliminator. Aaron using every second of the clock here. And it's just about done. If you weren't going to make a ball, that was the best possible result, is to leave them as messy as they were. Just needs to pot this and the set really is done. He didn't even take the pot on. So 16 seconds. Christophe is going to give it a go, and why not? But I don't think it's scientifically possible at this stage. Yeah, that'll do it. Aaron Davies wins the first set. High drama at the end of the first. Christophe Lambert, if he is to get through to the Champions League final, will therefore need a 6-red shootout. And he can only do that by winning this second set. Aaron Davies leads by 1-0 in the Ultimate Pool Champions League. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Champions League. And the two birthday boys sharing a chat. Aaron Davies and our referee, no nonsense Scott Bryce. Balls are racked. Second set about to get underway. Aaron breaking off first. And all he needs to do is not lose this set, and he's got a place in the Champions League final against Stevie Dempsey, who, if you're just joining us, won through earlier against Tom Cousins via 6-red shootout. Aaron gave those plenty of welly, but it's going to come up dry. Always think when you see the cue ball bounce that high, he's not quite caught it perfect.
Yeah, agreed. What we see, because we get to see the super slow-mo camera every now and then, you can really see the cue ball bounces up and down the table when it's coming down the table for the break. It doesn't stay smoothly on the bed of the table, and if you get the connection at the wrong time, the ball can bounce in the air, or the pack cannot split. So it's actually quite fascinating to see. So the smoother you can keep the break, the better. We've got a bit of a messy layout here. So we're in a little bit of a tactical battle in this opening frame.
Oh, plenty to ponder here for both players. It's rare you see the frames start like this, especially in this rule set, so aggressive it can be, especially on open table as well. What will both players be looking at here? What's the colour set at the moment with the most value in it?
Well, both have their problems. Gut feel is yellows can open up easier than the reds. But the reds aren't that bad either, because I think the red in the middle of the pack there does go into the right centre pocket. So actually, reds all have a pocket, apart from it's awkward to get on one or two of them. So they're both trying to guard against giving each other anything, really.
Yeah, don't give your opening shot away other than that.
I'm just wondering, does Aaron think he can do this for 20 minutes and say thank you very much?
Yeah, he'd try.
He would try if he could, but in this rule set, just not possible.
Must hit a cushion rather after contact.
There's a chance here on reds if Aaron wants them. Plant to the bottom right corner. It's dangerous. But as I mentioned before, the red in the middle there does go in the right centre pocket, and every red has a pocket. So in Jordan Shepherd style, it's a cash ball. Make the plant, the frame is there.
And it's not going to drop. Aaron Davies blinks first. Christophe Lambert now has a chance to go and win the frame.
Slight grimace as he sits down. He might be thinking about his choice, but I think this is a good shot choice. I really do, because I think if he makes that plant, I would expect him to clear up, and I expect, well, I was about to say I expect Christophe to clear up, but not with that shot.
No, he's played a terrible shot there. Can't really play safe off the ball that he's closest to either. He's going to have to look at these two reds here.
Well, he must be able to think, well, he thinks he can pop this off the red. So red off red.
I mean, this is aggressive. Very aggressive. Has he had a run? No.
Yeah, not at all. These yellows are very nice now for Aaron. So when he sat down and he grimaced, he probably thought, well, I'm going to lose the frame because of that shot choice. He comes to the table one shot later with a great chance on the other colour set here. All the yellows have a pocket, nothing tied up. It's all about the cue ball. And not only, I mean, they look congested in the middle there, but they actually all just, you know, it's very dot to dot here. There's a lot of just like drop-ins and stun shots here. Yeah. The yellow below the red passes the yellow to the left centre. Everything goes comfortably. No real problems at all.
Yeah, it looks congested, but it's just all about taking the balls in the right order, isn't it? It won't look congested for long if you do it well. Aaron so far is doing exactly that.
Obviously, we're in the same position we were in the first semi-final, one player having won the first set. But the difference here is that Christophe Lambert looks like he could be going 1-0 down, rather than Tom Cousins got off to a good start in the second set to really get him going and get into the match, get into the set. Aaron looks like he's nailed on to get this first frame on the board, and of course that means Christophe has to win 2, get himself back in front because he has to win the set.
Is he a little bit hampered here? I think he is.
He is hampered, but at least he doesn't have to do anything with the cue ball. Just drop it in. Still be annoyed with himself to put himself hampered queuing there, but no dramas. Slightly the wrong side of straight on this yellow, so 8-ball from distance.
Well, if he can punch home this 8-ball at distance, he's 1-0 up in the second set. He's just queuing over that red ball. This is a little bit awkward.
Yeah, red's where he wants to put his hand. You can see him, he's tried both sides of the red now. So he's a lot closer to the cue ball than is natural for him.
It's a tough shot. Bang. What a shot that is from Aaron Davies to wrap up the first frame. 13.5 minutes still to play in this Champions League semi-final. Christophe Lambert is running out of time. It's a really good shot from Aaron Davies. You can sometimes get in your own head a little bit when you've got a cue like that and think more about not fouling than the actual pot itself, or maybe take your eye off the cue ball. Something can be so simple, but he's kept his head really well there.
He has indeed. Christophe really needs to find his break. It's been working so well in the competition.
Yeah, it has.
Oh, cue ball's close as well, but he's going to be dry regardless.
Has he had a little bit of a rub here? I think he can get to the yellow beyond the jaw, down the bottom rail. You saw the full Christophe Lambert there on that break. He does do that when he throws his arm through 100%. Le Flamingo, fittingly, with the pink top.
Yeah, a bit of French flair. This is okay here for Aaron if the yellow goes past the 8-ball to the left centre, and I'm pretty sure it does, because he hasn't got much angle on the yellow across the bottom cushion, but all he has to do is drop it in, push the cue ball through, and then he's up and running. The 2 yellows do plant comfortably to the bottom left, and area the yellow has a pocket at the top of the table, so really good chance on yellows.
Yeah, and just had enough room just to wiggle the cue ball off the bottom cushion as well.
I think he'd like to get straight on the yellow, or the plant on the yellows, to get rid of them both, but actually it's not the end of the world. It's not actually a bad idea to keep, well, I was going to say to keep one of them at the bottom end of the table, but he's going to go up the table first. If he leaves the plant till last, then it will be a little bit dangerous. Make sure when he plays it that he stays on the next one, which is going to be a delicate shot. That's why I thought he might try and leave just one down there, because it connects the 8 so nicely. Looks like he's natural just to drift to the left of the 8 ball. If he's not, if the natural path of the cue ball here is into the 8 ball, and it might be the way he's lining these up, then he does need to be careful with his shot as well.
I think he played into it.
Yeah, he absolutely played into it on purpose. A little bit of right-hand side, just helping, but he's got to be careful here where the yellow goes.
Oh, he's judged that brilliantly. Really love that. Almost played it as a cambered plant, didn't he, to send the yellow to the other side of the table.
Yeah, fully knew what he was doing there.
Really, really clever. Twice across. Great control once again from Aaron Davies, who is edging closer to going one step further than he did in 2021. That 8 ball means he's 2 frames from a Champions League final. And his first ever ultimate pool final. And it's worth pointing out as well that this match is really big for both players, not just to win the Champions League, or the £10,000, all the rest of it. In a change to the 2022 season, this is a ranking event, and yes, it's a shorter format and all the rest of it, but there's some serious ranking points on offer for this Champions League, and if you can go and win it, it puts you in absolute contention for the top 16 for next season, which is going to be so big. Get you out of those prelim rounds as the Pro Series Tour expands next season. Wow, Aaron Davies. Well, I think we might have to see this in slow motion if we can. He's about taken out the table, like, hasn't he?
Yeah, not happy with the outcome of the last couple of breaks. Gave that, felt like a little bit more, but he's been hammering the break anyway. And at 2-0 up, with the way this match clock is running out, 3-0, and only needing a draw would be such a strong position. But awkward. If the yellow, you see the two together, the right-hand one of the two, if that passes the red to the top right-hand corner, this is fine. Oh, in fact, if it passes to the top left-hand corner, it's fine as well. And I think it doesn't to both of those. In the end, he had to play the plant.
Played it well.
Yeah, he hasn't landed on the next ball, though. This yellow is, I don't think it passes to the top right. Maybe see the one down the table, one along the cushion.
I guess his only shot, unless he wants to play safe. And awkward queuing as well. This will be some shot. Not to be. Is he going to take the pocket? Not really. I don't think. The red sneaks by. Well then, Christophe Lambert, if you're going to have any chance of qualifying for the Champions League final, here's your moment.
Yeah, these have to go, and they have to go in this visit for me, because you need 3 frames, and there's 6 minutes 40 on the clock. That could have been kinder. Slightly fuller on the cannon, knocked it onto the right centre, would have made life a little bit easier. So this is now a touchy shot. Touchy shot that he's played very well.
I often think with all those years of experience that Christophe Lambert has got, he does see the game very, very quickly.
Yeah, he absolutely does. But playing at this pace is something that's really new to him, though.
But I thought this when we talked about Phil Harrison in the Masters last year, for example. The quick pace almost helped him in a strange way because he sees the game so quickly. Christophe Lambert, similarly known as one of the sort of slower paced players on the circuit. You get him on an outside table, you can expect to be in there for a little while, but in this main arena, when he's put under the gun and he's told to clear quickly, he's absolutely capable of doing so. It's a brilliant visit to the table. This next break for Christophe is huge.
Yep, absolutely massive for me. Needs the ball and needs to break clear. He needs to save as much of that clock for the Aaron Davies break if he wants to get a win in this match.
The 15-second shot clock will begin following the Christophe Lambert break. Throws everything at it. 8 balls in motion too. Does he get a ball? No. And look at the split.
Got a feel from there. Felt like he deserved one the way he hit these. Okay, the cue ball maybe not as absolute squared on, but look at the power. Look at the number of balls flying around the table. 8 ball as well. Another day the 8 ball flies in. And look at the layout he's left as well. You know, if it came out messy, maybe we'd be talking about there's still just about enough time to, you know, for Aaron to have his go. But right now, if Aaron gets his frame on the board, it's effectively done. And they are all there.
Yeah, he knows as well. Wouldn't quite go as far as say he was distraught going back to his chair, but he was so frustrated. Shaking the heads. He knows the writing's on the wall here.
Yeah, it could be another semi-final with Ultimate Pool that gets away for Christophe Lambert here. I think it's his 3rd semi now over the course of the last 18 months since he joined the tour halfway through last season. This is probably his final hope. It's pot to the bottom left-hand corner.
Yeah, and all hope, I think, has just evaporated there.
In a set that Christophe Lambert absolutely needed to win to take it to a 6-red shootout, his break has deserted him.
You got to feel for him a little bit.
You have indeed. Aaron's 2 balls away from reverse clearing both of Christophe Lambert's breaks.
And that is a disappointed man right there. So 3-1, Aaron Davies. He is almost there. He's got 1 foot in the final. Christophe Lambert needs a miracle. He needs to find 3 frames in the next 2.5 minutes. And even then, that will be enough for a 6-red shootout.
Go as far as to say he needs a golden break with his own break, doesn't he? He needs a dry break here from Aaron, a very quick reverse clearance, then a golden break, and then he needs some hope and help in the last frame. He needs a chance somehow, and he won't have much time for it.
Well, the fact that he's got to win 3 frames and 2 of them are on the Aaron Davies break, it's a big, big ask. That we have seen stranger things happen over the last 1.5 years.
Never say never.
But this would be a huge, huge shock from here. No, Aaron Davies has flushed those. Well, it's going to require something of a miracle. If Christophe gets in, it will be a very quick clearance, but it would be tough to see him getting in at this stage. Look at this split.
I think he now knows. You see him just put his cue down there in the background. Aaron has a clean run to the line here, but with every second that ticks down, he is getting more and more certain.
Aaron onto the one to the bottom left here. He's on the one to the bottom right now, slightly awkward queuing.
Yeah, it naturally connects to the one to the top left, which helps.
Yeah, played that really nicely. Well, semi-finalist last year, Aaron Davies. Came up short, just short, against the eventual winner, Chris Melling. Only eliminated via 6-race shootout in the semi-final, having arrived at the same stage in the 2022 iteration. He has blown Christophe Lambert away. The birthday boy is a Champions League finalist. Aaron Davies gets the job done against Christophe Lambert, and the French phenom exits the competition. Aaron Davies has done it. He's got one more game between himself and glory, and that final against Stevie Dempsey is next.
Hey, very warm welcome back into the Ultimate Pool studio for the final time tonight. All right then, our final is set after 20 weeks of competition. 64 players started, only 2 remain, Stevie Dempsey and Aaron Davies. What a brilliant performance from these two guys to make this final, Simon. Stevie's been absolutely superb throughout the competition. For you, I know he was your player of the first round. Aaron, though, but since he entered the competition quite late as well, he's one of the later groups, he's been pretty faultless himself too.
Yeah, he has been, and I've said it for a while now, he's been the best player not to win a trophy so far with Ultimate Pool. His level is always high. What a semi-final he's just played there, with all the pressure on him, try and get himself in his first ever Ultimate Pool final. Very, very impressive. He took 6 from the break in, I think, 11 frames of pool. Feel for Christophe a little bit. His break let him down. His break's been so strong all tournament, but it let him down. But Aaron, he just did what he had to do. He won his frames and put Christophe under huge pressure. All the credit to him.
Yeah, absolutely. A super performance from Aaron Davies, but it was also a super performance from Stevie Dempsey. I mean, yes, he got through by 6-red shootout, but he did absolutely nothing wrong, really, against Tom Cousins. He was outstanding.
Yeah, I think if we look at the standard of the 4 players in those semi-finals, I think we're probably looking at a mistake each across the 4 of them. Incredible standard, considering how much pressure is on them out there, and with everything else that's going on, the time pressure, the match pressure, unbelievable stuff from all 4. Stevie was absolutely brilliant, but he's been absolutely brilliant in every single round in this tournament so far.
One of them is going to win an Ultimate Pool trophy. For Stevie Dempsey, it would be his second. For Aaron Davies, it would be his maiden. Can he get over the line? It's time to find out as we head out into the arena for the Ultimate Pool Champions League final.
A bit of a buzz out there as well. Stevie Dempsey prepares to get us underway. It will be he who has won the lag. He's going to break first. And even that sort of small victory may prove pretty important come the end of this opening set. Oh, he's got his cue ball perfect. How's the split? How's the ball? Nothing there. So Aaron Davies gets first opportunity. I wonder your thoughts, Simon, on who you'd rather be right now. Would you rather have been Stevie? You've got through the 6-red shootout. You let the adrenaline go. You sort of reset. You go again for your final. Or would you rather be Aaron Davies, just flown through Christophe Lambert on the crest of a wave, coming straight into the final?
I think it's a fascinating point. I think I often wonder what way would I rather be. I think if you come through a very dramatic second match, then I think it's hard to sort of reset that quickly. I really do. But when you come through a match the way Aaron did, which was just solid, consistent, amazing pool, but without a huge amount of drama, no twists, he just was almost felt in control the whole way through. I think you're happy, you're just going again. You're just in rhythm and you're going again. But I also don't think Stevie's going to be, hampered by having a break at all. I think getting your first match won and having a nice little 45, 50 minutes off, refresh, reset, bit of a drink, calm down, I think is absolutely fine for Stevie. I don't think it's going to have any bearing on this match whatsoever. One thing I would say at the start of this match right now is that Aaron Davies said to me when I was chatting to him and when he was having a little knock on the table earlier on, he said, how often do you see, in the sports world, players have a lot of good things go for them when it's your birthday?
He said that to me as well before.
And, and so far at the moment, his opponents are struggling with their break. Okay, small sample size here with Stevie, 1 break and it's dry. But, Christophe had some problems in terms of he was hitting the break great, but couldn't find a ball. Maybe it's a big birthday present here for Aaron Davies. I think he's straight enough on this ball that he can come just straight back and avoid the yellow and red by his hand now. Oh, maybe not. He uses the yellow. What a shot that is.
So clever.
That is, it's brilliant.
He's lined that up as well. You saw him come round to the bottom end of the table and just check the line of the screw shot. He's executed that. He's cued it perfectly. And now look how simple this run out is.
If you don't get that right, and it's so easy to get that just off left or right, you could tie up the red, you could, come on the underside of it and finish low and be on nothing. So that was just perfect.
This is all about pace control, this shot. Simple pot, unmissable. But just needs to get the line and the pace spot on. And that will do. Perfect. 1-0. Aaron Davies, who picks up right where he left off in the semi-final against Christophe Lambert. Super start from the Cyborg, who has had a stellar start to his Ultimate Pool career, but as Simon said, yet to win an Ultimate Pool trophy. He has gone close. Semi-final rather, of the 2021 Champions League. Final of the World Championships in 2020. But still awaiting his first, I feel like, big senior title. He's won 2 big junior titles. He's won plenty of competitions. Let's not get that twisted. He's wins competitions just about every weekend. He's never off the cloth, is Aaron Davies. But in terms of big senior tournaments, he's yet to really get his first one on the board, and he'll be aggrieved that he's breaking like that and he's not getting chances in this final.
Yeah, he hit them well, and they almost were beating each other to that top right-hand corner pocket, knocking each other out. Every time I thought one was going to go in, it gets kicked out, and he's dry. Chance for Stevie to respond. Problems at the top end of the table. Yellows look easier to solve than reds. I think there's only one problem yellow, really, actually. I think the 3 yellows at the top, more in the open, actually all go. It's just the one right on the top cushion. But reds is his choice. Okay, reds at the top. They may all kind of go. They all have a pocket. It's just getting from one to the next one. See the yellow in between the ones at the top of the table. But actually,
You can sort of skirt around it.
yeah. He might even, if he's got if he can get to that yellow, actually wouldn't be the worst place to be.
Yeah, if he sits either side of it, he's pretty okay, really.
It helps him if there's 2 together. If the one furthest into the table, so the bottom one as we look on the main camera. I was going to say if that goes, it helped him, but it must have not gone because he's played that lovely little cannon there. Lovely gappy hit there with a little tracer left-hand side just to flick it out. Has to be very precise with his next few shots. He's on the one to the top right now.
Again, just has to be precise. That's okay, but it's not ideal because he's hampered here. He's going to really struggle to get the cue ball out. It looks very straight on this red.
He may have to take the one along the top cushion, which I'm sure was his original plan. But when you're hampered queuing like this, that pot is now very difficult. The easy pot is doesn't get him any position, as you say. Can't get away.
Oh, this is tricky. This is really tricky. Beeps are coming. That was missable. That was missable. Aaron Davies back to the table then. Even as the beeps were coming, he was still thinking about maybe switching. But it was the only way really to clear those. He had to take the difficult one. It was a fiddly finish.
It really was. And I said he had to be precise. If he wasn't hampered Q in there, I think he's absolutely going to clear up.
Oh,
just being
100%.
hampered made all the difference.
Oh, that one. It's a little wobble from Aaron.
But the problem for Stevie is that he's cleared the reds enough to actually make yellows a bit more comfortable. Yes, the yellow on the left-hand side nearest the cue ball now is awkward, but actually you get right behind that. It's not the worst pot into the left centre pocket, especially if you're not doing anything with the cue ball, which is highly likely to be the case if Aaron works these through nicely. He hasn't, though.
Yeah, that's a slight problem.
Yeah, he wanted to be on the yellow on the top cushion. It did go to the top left-hand pocket, and he's not.
Could he look to play that tricky yellow into the centre now?
Yeah, very difficult. Very, very difficult pot from where he is now.
He's just going to dab here. This itself needs a bit of care.
Yeah, you have to feather the yellow, but quite thin. Yeah, better shot than it looks, that one. Okay, he's left sight of a red at the bottom of the table, but very little room to actually get the snooker.
Oh, has he left sight of it? Can Stevie hit the potting angle there?
I saw him straight away have a very good look at it. It is tight to the potting angle, but I think he's on it.
Some pot mind. Oh, he was close too. Aaron Davies gets away with one. And again, you just start to wonder, is the Aaron Davies name on the trophy?
We can wonder here as long as Stevie's not wondering out there.
Quite right. But maybe just a sign of a couple of little nerves out there. We see more sort of what you'd call errors in this final. We have what feels like the two semi-finals earlier together. This has been a little bit edgy so far. Oh, that's not ideal.
I think he'll play the double now. He may have played for the double, just the way that was coming down. Hard to actually see what he was playing on other than the double. And he's plumb on the double as well.
Lovely shot.
Hampered queuing this time for Aaron, but much easier than Stevie's. And you saw him straight away. Yeah, he's back there around now having a look. He's not going to overcomplicate this. He does have an angle where he could get the cue ball out, but he's just going to accept what he's got, which is to drop this in and take the yellow into the centre pocket.
Yeah, played that really well. Perfect on the 8-ball. Crunches home the 8-ball. Aaron Davies continues his run in the Ultimate Pool Champions League. The Cyborg edging closer to his first Ultimate Pool title. You can see there by the 2021 ranking. Worth pointing out the Champions League semi wasn't included in the ranking points that season. He had a very successful year on the tour last season without making massive strides. He was a sort of very consistent quarter-finalist. And if any point on this series when you can just chain together a couple of wins fairly consistently, you're a serious player.
Yeah, currently provisionally on this year's form just outside the top 16 and 19th, but even if he was to lose this match, he's going to jump up close, very close to the top 10. If he was to go on and win it, he'd be well inside the top 10. That's the difference. I mentioned earlier on for Stevie, when it comes to the rankings, he is 7th at the moment, and if he wins it, I think he goes up to 3rd in the rankings. Horrible layout here, the sort of layout you get when you're 2-0 down and you're desperate for a frame. Yellows is his choice. The yellow on the left-hand side is a real problem. And of course, the ones on the right still have there's one that's a problem. Easier to solve, but still a problem.
He's played a good shot there, I think.
Yeah, I like his idea there. He was playing that with pace. He knew he was getting that yellow going down towards the bottom of the table and the left-hand side of the bottom of the table. He would have loved it to bounce maybe a roll or two more off, and then he could have used that to maybe help develop the other yellow that's really bad.
Stevie Dempsey is chasing here.
Yeah, he is. If he can see, I mean, we've been fooled by the overhead here. If he can see enough of this yellow, he'll play the yellow off the red. That opens up the pocket. And of course, because he's playing the yellow off the red, there'll be more angle on the shot and he can get the cue ball out. On the overhead, it doesn't look on, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
just like that. Lovely.
Great vision from Stevie. I mean, it's almost as though he saw that really early, like he's nudging balls into position to almost have this as an option.
Brilliant shot. He's got that in the locker, Stevie Dempsey, it's worth pointing out. He's a very sort of consistent, almost a bit of a steady Eddie, really. Nothing super flashy about his game, no real sort of flamboyance. That's because he doesn't really want to be. But when he's forced to, he's as good a shot maker as anyone. He's already made some amazing shots in this year's Champions League. I remember the cocked hat shot he played in his group stage. He's got all the tricks of the trade, does the hammer.
This has just been absolutely top draw, world-class visit to the table.
This is such a good finish. Such a good finish. Brilliant from Stevie Dempsey there. That's such quality. Such quality. That was a sort of real odds against finish there. And he's pulled one out the fire.
Yeah, the vision to, you know, the two or three shots he played to sort of get down to the place where he could open up the ball was just a huge vision. He knew he was knocking a ball down there. Okay, he may not have known exactly how he was going to use that ball, but once he got down there, he knew exactly what he was trying to do in terms of get the cue ball on the bottom cushion and then play the shot that he played. The vision there was absolutely amazing, and obviously still had to execute it, and it wasn't that easy to do that as well. It really was brilliant.
Back on the break comes Aaron Davies. 5 minutes remaining of this first set. We're about to enter the 15-second shot clock zone. Oh.
Aaron's hitting them harder and harder and harder as the night goes on. I think there's some adrenaline flowing for Aaron.
Looks at first glance, to be fair, I think either colour set looks okay. Yellows have maybe one more problem, but...
Yeah, reds, I mean, the one by the 8 ball is a tricky ball in terms of it doesn't really go into the middle, but it goes comfortably long. And I think there is enough room to pot the 8 ball, but he may well play a little nudge on it.
"15-second shot clock in play, Aaron. I think just forgetting about that just for a second. That'll do.
He was actually, I think, trying to get into the yellow and 8 ball there, so that if he gets into the yellow, then he stays on the red to the right centre and the 8 ball opens up. Tells me this 8 ball might be a little bit more tied up than it looks. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. That's put him in a world of trouble. Had to avoid that little flick on the red.
Stevie Dempsey readies himself in the corner. 15-second shot clock here is influencing this frame.
This must go. Doesn't look like it, does it?
No.
Maybe, I think I know he must have been coming back for the double, and he's come back quite a way too far. Double to the corner, that is.
Still took it on. Bit of a more in hope than expectation. And he's not tied that yellow up for Stevie Dempsey either. And Stevie now with a brilliant chance, a wonderful chance to level the scores going into the final frame of the set, and it's on his break.
Yeah, this is one where the clock management's interesting, actually. You absolutely cannot afford not to take the chance, so you don't want to rush, but you also want to leave yourself enough chance for a break clearance in the next frame. If it was Aaron to break, we'd be talking about how he wants to slow it down, make this take as long as possible.
He's okay.
Yeah, he may have been trying to use the side cushion there and got into it a bit too much, or he may have let it just slide a little bit too far to the left, but he's okay, as you say, still no real problems. Helps him, you can see him straight away looking, does that yellow pass the 8-ball into the right centre? If it does, it's so simple. If it doesn't, he needs to play a little bit of a positional shot, but he could screw through the gap. There he goes, half a pocket. I think he's straight enough that he could just screw through the gap of the two, or come off the bottom cushion and still get to the same area. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
So he's going to have about 90 seconds to go and win the set. Of course, if he fails to do so, very good chance for either Aaron to win it or even for the set to be halved. Stevie Dempsey ties things up with very little time left on the watch in this first set of the Champions League final.
That's the reward you get for pulling out just an absolutely incredible clearance in frame 3 from Stevie. Get the reward in the next frame, when Aaron had an opportunity there to all but win the set, really.
And see Aaron maybe looking for some external forces to help out here.
I think if I was Aaron sat in the chair right now, I think I'd be happy for a messy break rather than worrying about trying to get a dry break or an in-off break. Actually, just accept the draw and let's move on and win one set of ball to get yourself through. Of course, a dry break comes up here. Aaron will be jumping out of his chair trying to run round and clear up, but he won't be disappointed with a draw now.
Well, that is absolutely not dry. Steve, you got a shot.
Yeah, look at this layout.
24 remaining.
Look at these yellows. Look at them. They are just begging to be cleared up here. Eight ball goes, bottom left-hand corner. Red's not in the way. All the yellows go. The one just on the break line just needs to be careful when playing on it, which he was going to do straight away. Doesn't want this to go too far. Little bounce. Yeah, that's okay. Shade more off the cushion would have just made controlling the cue ball a little bit easier, but he's still in good shape. The yellow does pass the other yellow to the bottom right-hand corner. And he's just come round, take the other yellow on in the triangle area to the bottom left, and they are there. That little nudge on the yellow, he didn't want.
Yeah, he's a little bit awkward now. Might have to reroute. No, he is still going to take this one.
He is, but what that means is he may not get as nicely behind the 8-ball. And the cue ball's going to be running here. This is going to be so tight on time. I don't think he's going to have enough time here.
4 seconds. He's going to miss the pot anyway. He wouldn't have had time to play the 8-ball. Stevie Dempsey just runs out of time at the end of the first set. A dramatic finish. And we are all square. Both players take half a point, and we move in to our second set of the night in the Ultimate Pool Champions League final. Well, don't you dare go anywhere. Welcome back to the Ultimate Pool Champions League final. Take a look at that scoreboard. Half a point each as we get into the second set. Aaron Davies to break first. Makes a ball, and we'll have first swing in this second set. Worth pointing out that the just feels like the odds of a 6-red shootout have just lengthened. We're going to have to see another tied set for it to be a 6-red shootout. It is now very, very simple for these two boys. You win the set, you win the title.
Yeah, it's an interesting to really feel who was happier out of that first set as well, because at one point Stevie was 2-0 down and he would have taken the draw all day long. But then he had a great chance there and probably just got his timings a little bit wrong. He's been so good at that side of the game for, well, the whole competition, but just mistimed that one. And Aaron had his opportunity to get himself 3-1 in front, didn't take it. So both of them should be annoyed they didn't win the set. But in some ways, it's easy just to go, okay, race to 4 for the title. Forget about everything that's gone so far.
Yeah, that'll be the message, won't it?
That yellow he just cannoned, he wanted to cannon thicker. He wanted to knock it towards the right centre pocket.
Oh, that's going to stay up. Grimace from Aaron Davies.
Tricky here for Stevie. The red that he's on, the one to the left centre, he would love to leave as his connector to the 8-ball. He can't.
He just tried to cheat the pocket a little bit here, Aaron, just to keep the control of the cue ball a little bit. There wasn't quite enough room.
Yeah, we just saw, as that replay was going on, we saw the pot into the left centre pocket for Stevie, and if he could have left that ball till last, he could have then played a little bump into the yellow and an easy 8-ball. So now the 8-ball becomes a problem ball for him.
I think he's dead straight here. Yeah, he was. Could only get the cue ball straight back.
He may accept the 8-ball as a double because that's easy to get to. 2 at the top of the table, straight in on the one to the bottom right-hand corner, and you plumb on the double. If he wanted to take a risk there, he could have played a little cannon, a little clever cannon onto the yellow. It would have been risky because it wasn't natural. But he would have stayed on the red to the top right-hand corner. I think it was a risk, though. Especially when you're on the... You might have been too close to the cushion, to be honest. I'm trying to be too clever.
Easy to overplay this. He's not got a lot of room. That yellow gets bigger and bigger. He's so good under pressure here, Stevie Dempsey. Just wants to hold this cue ball. Don't allow it to run. Oh, he's okay. He's fine.
Oh, the way he's played that, I wonder if he can get through to the potting angle. If not, he's on the double.
Oh, he's thinking about it.
It's very tight. It really is very, very tight through to potting angle here.
Here's the double, and he punches it home. Good shot from Stevie Dempsey. The hammer goes 1-0 in front. It was very tight. Here he is. Stevie Dempsey was in last season's Champions League, did have a very good season in Ultimate Pool there, got to a semi-final earlier on, I think in the very first Pro Series weekend. Set himself up nice for a decent finish to the season. But in 2022, whilst he said to us earlier, he sort of struggled on the weekend events in the Pro Series, he did win the Ultimate Pool Pro Series Grand Slam Back near the start of the year now. Biggest prize in the Ultimate Pool calendar as of right now. Oh, a little spring in the step of Stevie following that outcome.
This is some break. This really is. Watch this cue ball, and you're thinking, how is it dry? Because he absolutely flushes it. And then, I mean, I'm watching that replay, and I still can't believe he hasn't potted the white. I mean, don't get me wrong, it would have been very, very unlucky if he pots the white, but how's that not gone in? One bad ball, and not anymore. Opens it up first shot. Stevie didn't get the win in the first set, but he's riding the momentum now. That is 3 frames on the trot. And of course, he had that great chance to make it, well, what would now be 4, to win the first set, which he ran out of time on.
Yeah, you almost get the sense Aaron might just have to play himself back into the match a little bit.
Yeah, he needs a good chance and he needs to take it. Otherwise, these matches can get away quickly. I mean, they are only races to 4. It's definitely Stevie Dempsey with a bounce in his step. Needs a good positional shot here.
Like that.
That's perfect. Absolutely with your hand perfect. And the reason I say you need a good positional shot, because if you go long or thin, you just makes things harder.
So again, just try and hold the cue ball here. He's got a gap to land in for the Reds.
Be interesting actually to see whether he tries to get to the bottom cushion or just takes where he is and stays at the top. Yeah, I think even with the 8-ball being where it is, and it wouldn't have been too tricky to get onto it from the top end of the table, the risk was worth it to come down the table, because he had a nice big line to come down the table, because now it's very simple.
Yeah,
to
now
drop
it's
it.
unmissable.
A lot of players may have played that one the other way, but I like the way Stevie went about that.
Really nice from Stevie Dempsey. 2-0 in front in the second and final set of this Champions League final. Just an interesting topic really on routes there, Simon. You mentioned a few players would have played it the other way. I think it's almost the way that Stevie's thinking there is, when do I want to play my difficult shot? I don't want my shot onto the 8-ball to be the difficult one. I don't want my 8-ball to be potentially the difficult one. If you've got a half-decent line, you've got a chance of playing it, you back yourself and you play it early.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the shot he played was such a nice wide-open line. That was a far easier shot than positional shot than it would have been if he'd left the cue ball at the top of the table and had to play the positional shot onto the 8-ball, which I still would have expected him to get, but he went about it in a way that was the most achievable and the most controllable.
Aaron needs a ball. If he goes dry here, he's going to scream. Oh, no. Well, I know they used to call him Screech. He might be sat in his chair doing exactly that right now.
Yeah, this match has turned on its head.
Oh, that's so tough.
Aaron won the first 2 frames. It's been a Stevie Dempsey show ever since. It's not an absolute wide open chance though here for Stevie. There is a small amount of hope for Aaron to get back to the table in this frame. 8-ball is in a very tricky spot, but this is actually quite similar to the first clearance he made in this set, where he left the 8-ball where it is and played the double. I think I'm expecting him to do the same thing again.
Especially, it feels like there's been quite a lot of doubles already in this night. There's been a few kick shots, a few doubles. Seems that everyone's pretty much got the spring of the cushions absolutely bob on.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any reason for Stevie to fear it, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. The only slight difference between this one and the one in the first frame of the set is the fact that he's not absolutely certain to finish perfect on the double. It's highly unlikely he wouldn't because of the reds at the bottom of the table. He's not going to be moving the cue ball far. But the reason I don't like the breakout shot is because the 2 yellows guarding it mean that if you get the contact, you're going to hit the yellow rather than the 8-ball more likely than not. And it's not guaranteed to come out, and then you could land nowhere. So I think the controllable way, leave the double, back yourself to make it.
Yeah, agreed.
The yellow on the right-hand side that looks like it might be in the way for the double is not involved at all. You can see that on the overhead. That yellow won't play a part. It is a very open shot.
Could almost go left, right, left if he wanted to on these reds, but he is going to try and use the same pocket all 3 times.
The reason for that being is he was straight on the top red of the 3 there, and if the red below it had a open pocket to the right, you just roll it through, and then it's sort of a really simple dot to dot. But it wasn't an open pocket. I think it probably did slide in, but off the far jaw. So he's played the middle one, and he's come up a little bit short. So he's going to have to reroute once again. No problems to do that, though. Now it's interesting. He's got, looks to be the perfect angle. Now he's going to play for the double. If he had the perfect angle to screw back into the 8-ball, he may have been tempted, but maybe not. Maybe if he's just off straight the wrong way, it's actually a little tricky to get on the double.
I think he is. I think the natural line, if he follows through, is actually taking him towards the bottom cushion rather than away. Let's play a really good shot here.
He's going to really force it. Yeah, he is just off straight. He's really forced this. Yeah, it's a well-played shot. He's far enough up for the double.
So then, double it is for Stevie Dempsey. Oh, he knew. He knew straight away. As soon as he played that shot, you heard the noise from the hammer. He didn't quite get the line perfect. Jaws the double, and Aaron Davies has a route back into this final. 8 minutes left.
How close can that be? Aaron wanted to get right the way across to the left-hand side or pull up short. He's in between. He wanted to take the one to the bottom left first, just to clear the path for the one he's nearest to.
Taking the plan. Played that well. How's it come out?
Once again, he was trying to get on the one nearest the bottom left-hand corner pocket, and I'm not sure if he has. He hasn't. Going on body language.
He's okay, though. Can, I think, just run this one through to be able to get there. As ever, when you've got no other colour set in your way, you've almost got a limited license, really, but he's making a little bit of a meal of this. I can screw back instead. Just got this one straight down the line now.
Yeah, but once again, the difference it makes if he's actually on the cushion, because it just makes it easier to get the cue ball out onto the next one at the bottom of the table, because if he takes this in now, he's going to be on the cushion playing the one at the bottom of the table. If he was on the cushion now, he gets himself far enough out that actually it becomes really, really simple.
You can see Stevie Dempsey there, I think, trying to work out what Aaron's trying to play.
Oh, in the end, he tries to screw into the cushion and bump the one above it out and arcs around it. He may play the same shot again. Screw back into the cushion and a little bump into the top of the 2 yellows. This time he gets it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
He has tried to get onto this ball every single shot in this visit, and he is finally on it.
Yeah, if at first you don't succeed and all that.
He's overrun this one as well. Don't know if he can just drop this in now. He's come back a good roll of the cue ball too far. I'm going to have to use the bottom cushion and jack the cue up.
Played a really good shot there. Oh, he made, as I say, a bit of a meal of that clearance, Aaron Davies. But for the first time in a little while, Aaron Davies wins a frame. You can forgive him for being a little bit of a
A little bit relieved after that, because and a little bit loose with the cue ball as well, because he's not really had a huge amount of table time in the last sort of 5 frames.
Yeah, he needed that. He really needed it. He needed some help from Stevie, and Stevie's given it to him with that missed double. That will be playing on his mind right now. 3-0, 2-1. Such a huge difference. Look how much time's on the clock now, 5 minutes 19. So if Stevie had made that, it would have been 7 minutes or so and 3-0 ahead and his break. Now he's got to get back to work. It's still in his hands, though. He'll still be thinking, if I can make a ball here and make a break clearance, I'm still in control.
15-second shot clock about to be in play. We will go to 0.
Oh, do you see that little extra nudge on the cue ball there? I think just kept it out the middle pocket. This is going very close to the centre pocket. Again, it would be unlucky because he hits the perfect break. But see that little feather?
Wow. What a spot.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
That's incredible.
Yellow's the choice. Stevie keeps his extension. That could be important. He's got a couple of good shots to play on these yellows here.
Yeah, it's not a big split at all. He's got an angle now. He could play into the red and yellow, I think, together. I think he's just got enough angle to do that. He's certainly got enough angle to sort of create the angle. He's going to leave it. He would love to have come a roll less, unless I'm being fooled by the overhead we have in the commentary box. If he can just top through and just skim off the yellow, it's perfect.
Oh, that's not, though.
Yeah, he wanted to hit like just on the top side of it, so it knocks it left and he stays on the one into the right centre.
Is he still on the one to the right centre?
He might have to play it off the red.
Some shot this if he can make it.
Oh, it went long.
We could get it long. Bang.
Huge difference.
Oh, and it looks likely now. With 3.5 minutes to go, a 3-1 lead is a big lead. I think he's still got a little bit of a shot to play here, mind. Still got a shot to play. That's okay. He's a little lucky. He wanted to slide by, but he's fine.
Yeah, he's okay. This is a big shot, though.
It's there. Oh, he's pumped up his arse, Stevie. Absolutely pumped.
And now he's waiting for that clock to run down, and quite rightly so as well. Use every single second. What a shot that was.
See what it means to the hammer. He's not there yet, but he's almost there. 3-1 leads. 2.5, 2:45 I think was left on the match clock. Not long. Aaron needs to find 2 frames minimum. If he finds 2 without reply, it's 6 red shootout time for the Champions League title.
That was some bottle there from Stevie. That really was. He made a big error in the previous frame, not making the double, which would have put him 3-0 in front. And that was a tricky clearance, and he wasn't in a nice position a couple shots in. And then, of course, that one down the cushion at the end, that wasn't easy. And he showed his emotion when that went in. He knows the difference that made.
2:32. Aaron Davies needs 2 frames. He's got the break. Needs a ball. He's got a ball. 8 balls awkward. You got to shift, Aaron. Top right, the table's a little bit tricky as well.
That 8 ball has gone to the same area of the table on all 3 of Aaron's breaks, because it is once again in a horrible position on the left-hand side, just below the middle pocket.
I'm not even sure you can double it.
The yellow's in the way for the double this time. This is harder than Stevie had, and look at the red at the top of the table as well. Aaron knows he's got to go, but 2 massive problems already. Okay, now the double's on, which helps, but look at the other red then gets tied up.
Oh, Aaron is really reaching here. He can, I think, go into the top right of the table off this shot, but he's going to be on a little bit
this is impossible. You cannot pot this and get on that next red. You just can't do it. Oh, look how much side he's played that with. That's incredible to get that low down the table. He needed one more roll and he'd have been able to play this one off the yellow. He can still see it. This may still go, you know.
What a shot, Aaron. Is he on the 8-ball? Can he get the thin cut? Can he even see it?
How good were those last two shots? Absolutely incredible.
Kick shot then to stay in the Champions League. It's wide. And Stevie Dempsey knows he just has to run down the home straight and see this one through. Aaron Davies nearly finding a miracle clearance, and he is so close to doing it.
If he clears up there, that is the best last 3 balls I'd have ever seen. To be able to get the cue ball that far down the table was unreal. And then the shot he played to make it, just breathtaking. It deserved the 8-ball to go in.
Stevie Dempsey is going to do it. Aaron Davies goes one step further than last year, but is going to fall at the last in the Ultimate Pool Champions League. Stevie Dempsey has done it the hard way in this tournament. The amount of brilliant players that have fallen in his wake. The Hammer is an Ultimate Pool champion once again. In the Champions League, it's Stevie Dempsey who'll lift the trophy. Sensational performance from Stevie. For the second time, he's an Ultimate Pool champion. Aaron Davies left to rue. An unbelievable ending. All respect between these two great players. Do stay with us. The presentations are next, where we will hear from both and crown our Vineyard.co.uk Ultimate Pool Champions League champion.
All right then, folks, for the final time this season, welcome back into the arena on the Ultimate Pool Champions League. A magnificent tournament like this deserved a brilliant ending, and these two players certainly provided it. Let's hear it inside the arena for Stevie Dempsey and Aaron Davies. A super final. He went all the way to the semis last year. He's gone one better this year as well. A super player for which this won't be his last final. Aaron Davies, everyone. Aaron, really well played there. I mean, you know this Monday night mixer better than most at this point. It's sometimes kind to you, it's sometimes not. Just fell on the other side of it tonight.
In the end, like looking back, I think I've made probably one mistake in each set. Obviously, if I can just play a perfect set in one of them, I'm at least on a shootout. But yeah, obviously I'm going to look back at them 2 mistakes. But when you're playing under this pressure and this shot clock, you know you're going to make mistakes really. So it's probably not as bad as I think.
With that being said, how nearly did you pull out the clearance of all clearances at the end there? That was nearly one of the best finishes we've ever seen.
I know, after a couple of shots I thought, well, it's gone now. And then as I've opened this ball up down here, I'm thinking, oh, well, hold on, this goes off the ball in the middle, so if I can just get round there. And I managed to do it, and I just wanted a shot on the black, and it didn't happen, did it?
So close, but I'm sure you'll be back next year. Congratulations on a great tournament, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
Aaron Davies, everyone. Well, for the second time, the Irishman is an Ultimate Pool champion. Stevie Dempsey doubles up. Grand Slam champion, Champions League champion. Stevie Dempsey, everyone. Stevie, congratulations, mate. You've had to do it the real hard way in this tournament. You've knocked out a who's who of 8-ball greats. You've done some by 6 red shootout. You've had 2, in fact, in the tournament. It's been some run, mate, and here you are at the end, the champion.
Yeah, obviously delighted with the win. I think I sort of let the first set get away from me, but at the same time I was kind of happy to scrape the draw after being 2-0 down. Just did really manage the clock well on that one, and then in the second set played really well, broke really well. I think that's probably what won me the match in the end. My break was flying. I was getting all the chances, and as Aaron said, he only really made 1 or 2 mistakes. I probably made 2 or 3. I missed the double on that 8-ball to go 3-0 up, and I was like, I think that might cost me. But then in the next frame I got a huge break and managed to get a good pressure yellow down here, and I pretty much thought it was over after that, to be honest. Even though, as you said, Aaron nearly pulled out a mental finish to go 3-2. But yeah, delighted to get over the line in the end.
It's been some season for you. I know you were telling us earlier you've maybe struggled a little bit on the weekends to get a good run going, but 2 tournament wins in one season is absolutely phenomenal, mate.
Yeah, I think by anyone's standards, getting 2 wins with the standard on the tour is brilliant. Yeah, and I just keep running into tough matches on the series weekends. But look, if you're winning 2 tours or 2 ranking events a season with this field, you're going to be delighted.
I'm sure you are. Time to bring in the Ultimate Pool Chief Executive, Lee Kendall, to make the presentation. Stevie Dempsey is your 2022 Champions League champion.